A hand grips a heavy chain, digging into a neck already marked by restraint. High above, a crowned figure with blonde hair, radiating a sinister purple energy, stares into the heavens. Master Belphegor's eyes snap downward, the dark power around him flaring as a realization hits him. A rare look of shock crosses his features. Something's off with Belphegor, he mutters, then a chilling question, is that true? Meanwhile, Kim Soo-hyun's gaze sharpens, his own power subtly surging. I didn't think he'd actually show up, he declares, and he definitely didn't come alone, did he? His voice rings with conviction. Yes, he affirms, they've spotted over 1,000 men. Hyung is on his way. A fierce determination ignites in his eyes. My Hyung and my forces are here to rescue me, he realizes, a wry thought crossing his mind. Hyung really brought the entire Hamel clan just for one person. His resolve turns deadly, annihilate them all, but keep them away from my Hyung. He weighs the odds. We might have the numbers advantage, he concedes, but every single one of them is a former royal elite. A single, powerful word seals his understanding, understood. A guttural grunt rips through the silence, a hand clenching in raw, desperate struggle. But then, a chilling voice slices through the air, taunting him, Yo, Kim Soo-hyun. Took you long enough. What kept you? The golden-haired menace just grins, twisting the knife. Your emotions are a mess, and you're here to rescue me? Seriously, couldn't you at least crack a smile for your saviors? Belphegor's words cut deep, reminding Kim Soo-hyun of the brutal truth. All the lives crushed by the royal elites, all the souls fed to demons, it's just the law of the jungle, and the weight of it makes him groan again. I see the fire in your eyes, Belphegor sneers, but you're the one who preached that the weak get culled. Then, with a chilling finality, you're done. But Soo-hyun's eyes blaze with defiance, his mind flashing to his Hyung, and then to every single friend, every single person he's fighting for. His fist tightens, his resolve burning as he pictures So Young Nuna, a silent, desperate plea echoing in his thoughts. Then, out of nowhere, a monstrous, glowing red aura explodes into existence, making Belphegor snap his head up with a shocked grunt, the very air thrumming with raw power. The red energy surges, and Belphegor's shock turns to outright denial as he screams, what is this? Are they already here? No way. The Hamel clan was supposed to be miles away. Belphegor's voice cuts through the silence, taunting Kim Soo-hyun, demanding to know if he's finally decided to wake up. As Kim Soo-hyun fights the mental assault, he barely comprehends the crushing voice, only for Belphegor to confirm his worst fears. His mind is completely exposed. But Kim Soo-hyun's eyes ignite with a furious purple glow, as he unleashes a chilling warning, his voice a steel-edged command, get your filthy hands off me, right now. Then, without warning, the entire space plunges into an abyssal darkness, swallowing everything. Out of the deepening gloom, a terrifying mass of crimson-wreathed figures, radiating pure fury, starts to coalesce. The sheer, unbridled force of that crimson energy explodes outward, ripping reality itself to shreds. It surges, a cataclysmic wave devouring all. A new, urgent voice cuts through the chaos, demanding to know why Kim Soo-hyun is here, then steeling itself with a fierce resolve, no matter the cost, yeah. And then, from the heart of the maelstrom, a breathtaking, angelic being with colossal wings and a blinding halo descends, radiating pure, divine light. Imagine getting your hands on a zero code, an omnipotent power that can literally accomplish anything. Then your wildest dreams, no matter how impossible, would instantly become reality. Belphegor lets out a chilling laugh, standing by the throne as Soo-hyun grapples with the ultimate question, is this power truly omnipotent, or just unlimited? His mind flashes to a gentle, pink-haired woman, her gaze holding deep sadness, as he bitterly realizes that even with all this power, he can't make his deepest wish come true. A radiant blue orb pulses in his grip, a symbol of his immense power, but his heart screams one thing, just give it back. Despair twists his features as he grips the orb, the crushing weight of his past failures making him question, is this power even truly omnipotent? Then, a dazzling, winged angel flashes before his eyes, and a frustrated TSK escapes him, a sign of his inner turmoil. He recalls a hand reaching, a desperate grab, and a single word, Seraph, rings in his head. Now, in a dramatic red cloak, Soo-hyun stands firm, the blue orb blazing in his hand, a golden aura erupting around him as he gets ready to make his move. His eyes blaze with fierce resolve as he declares he'll use the cheat code and rewind time to the past. An ethereal, angelic woman with flowing blonde hair and glowing eyes gazes forward, her massive white wings spread wide, as if recalling a distant memory. She looks down at a figure below her, demanding answers, to when I first came here. Player Kim Soo-hyun. What did you mean by that? Her expression shifts to shock as she repeats, I, Kim Soo-hyun, as the only survivor of the Zero Code. Player Kim Soo-hyun. The vision dissolves into a swirling vortex of cosmic energy. Before fading to a wide, misty forest landscape, the air thick with an unknown presence. Through the dense fog, a group of figures slowly makes their way, their footsteps rustling softly on the forest floor. Among them, Kim Soo-hyun clenches his fists, his frustration boiling over. Ah, crap. This is too frustrating, I can't hold still. A man beside him turns sharply, his brow furrowed with concern. Know anything about this messed up situation? Where are we? Kim Soo-hyun, still disoriented, confronts a red-haired woman, and who are you people anyway? Huh. He's absolutely losing it, screaming for answers from the poor soul on the ground. But the forest itself is a mystery, shrouded in thick mist, offering zero answers, just an eerie, unsettling quiet. Suddenly, he's not alone. Strangers emerge from the mist, their faces hidden, and the oppressive atmosphere just keeps getting heavier. But then, a fiery red-haired woman, totally fed up with the noise, snaps, her patience clearly gone. Cool as ice, she confronts him head-on, demanding to know why he's acting like a child. He fires back, scoffing at her tantrum comment, reminding her they're all in the same messed-up boat. Suddenly, a stern-faced man steps in, laying into the red-haired woman, lecturing her on manners and respect for her elders. But she's not backing down. She claps back, asking if his parents taught him to scream at younger people, telling him to grow up if he wants respect. That's it. Her defiance pushes him over the edge, and he lunges, his fury exploding. The tension is palpable as the dark-haired man snaps, asking what's wrong, while the red-haired woman fires back, demanding answers. She brushes him off, claiming worry, but he's not having it, calling out her public scene, then shuts her down completely, saying he's not even talking to her. But Kim Soo-hyun's mind is elsewhere, he knows something's off, but he's no fool. He's been preparing, ready to survive in this bizarre, misty forest he suddenly found himself in. Suddenly, the dark-haired man pivots to Kim Soo-hyun, a grim look on his face, and asks if he can hear the unsettling sounds echoing through the mist. The group starts moving, and the dark-haired man confirms his unease, revealing that unsettling sounds have been closing in from everywhere. With a sigh, he turns to the red-haired woman, telling her to just do whatever she wants. Leading the charge, he throws out a challenge, telling her to follow if she dares, and to bring her weapons if she's got any. The blue-haired woman immediately commits, agreeing it's smart to stick together here, a point the dark-haired man readily confirms. Watching the others leave, the red-haired woman, after a beat, snaps at Kim Soo-hyun to get moving, demanding they join the group. Standing on the brink of the unknown forest, the dark-haired man cuts through the tension, demanding a plan, as the blue-haired woman, ever direct, pushes to just charge in. Her voice cracking with raw fear, she admits her terror, a monstrous shadow already looming in the mist behind her. Kim Soo-hyun, spinning around, demands to know if she's just going to stand there. Her eyes snap to the creature, and its eyes blaze with a terrifying, malevolent red. Her worst nightmares are coming true. The monster bursts from the swirling fog, a skeletal, demonic horror unleashing a guttural, earth-shattering roar. She can only scream a desperate, terrified plea. No hesitation. The creature lunges, covering the distance in a terrifying blur. A devastating blow lands, sending her hurtling backward with bone-shattering force. The relentless assault continues, each impact a brutal testament to the monster's raw, overwhelming power. She's utterly helpless, trapped in a whirlwind of pain and pure, unadulterated terror. Dragged deeper into the creature's clutches, her fate hangs by the thinnest thread. Watching the brutal attack unfold, Kim Soo-hyun's face twists with shock, then hardens with grim, unyielding determination. He stands with his crew, the tension palpable as one of them confesses their fear, wondering if sticking around this creepy spot is really the move. But his eyes are miles away, his decision locked in, as the system flashes a confirmation, he's rewinding time in the hull plane. He's on his knees before a massive, glowing angel, doubling down on his choice. With a firm yeah, he swears he won't regret a thing, ready to repeat history, as the glowing orb in his hand flares to life, sending him rocketing back to the hull plane, a full decade in the past. Now rocking a red cloak and a sword, he's all alone in a barren, rocky wasteland, ready to rewrite history. A powerful seraph, a literal angel, is looking down, utterly baffled by his choice, declaring that no one, not even she, can grasp his insane decision. Even with perfect logic, there's no rational reason for his actions, everything he's done is pointless, but he's still refusing to give up, driven by his own will, or maybe by something he witnessed in the past. Kim Soo-hyun knows the zero code is ridiculously powerful, and yeah, going back in time is totally illogical, but he doesn't care, he doesn't need her to get it. He's completely over acknowledging her presence in everything from the last decade, telling Seraph to just back off. But Seraph isn't backing down, insisting that no matter what he does, she'll never accept his will with the zero code, and that's her final word. Kim Soo-hyun clutches a glowing orb, and a voice hits him with the ultimate question, does he, player Kim Soo-hyun, really regret this, and is he seriously going to relive 10 years of pure hell? He's deep in thought, asking himself if he really wants to go through it all again, his mind flashing to his brother who waited, and his comrades who died for nothing. And just like that, the gravity of his choice hit him, a crushing burden he had to carry. He just had to do it, even with the insane sacrifices and the brutal truth of it all, throwing a sarcastic thanks out to the angels. Seraph, the celestial guardian, was absolutely floored. His plan was literally messing with years of history. She straight up asked if he was disrespecting his fallen squad, Juan and Yun, then hit him with one last offer to back down. But he was done listening, shutting down her desperate appeals. Seraph couldn't believe his stubbornness, demanding he listen before he made a huge mistake. She pushed harder, asking if he was seriously trusting a demon's words, especially him, after losing so many friends to them. But he was unyielding, mentally brushing her off as just an assistant angel, stating he had zero time for useless debates and just wanted her to get how he felt. Then, with a massive burst of energy, he unleashed his power, forcing time to rewind, sending him back a decade to his starting point. He stands before the dazzling Seraph, who reaches out, a silent, desperate plea hanging in the charged air. Her golden eyes snap shut, a gasp escaping her as she whispers, "Unbelievable." Behind him, the crimson cloak flares, his hand blazing with raw power, the zero code now fully bound to his will. The radiant angel looks down, conceding the immense power. Even if it's a demon's power, it's perfectly aligned with your will. I can turn back time. However, she presses, her voice laced with urgency, as I mentioned, this serves a monumental purpose, isn't it? Pushing it further is just illogical. Kim Soo-hyun stands his ground, his eyes burning with resolve as Seraph pleads, "You're the only one who can dominate this realm. With my authority, I can guide you to a superior restart." But he cuts her off. "Exactly. All I care about is my return. I don't care what you say. I'll do what I want. If you even think about getting in my way, I'll." Seraph extends her shimmering hands, a vortex of blue energy swirling, trying to sway him. "All angels inherently understand and empathize with your feelings. We all sympathize with you. See this not as help, but as pure goodwill." He stares back, a chilling smirk playing on his lips. "Sympathize?" His gaze intensifies, a defiant challenge echoing through the ethereal space. "What if I refuse?" The zero code was responding, and Seraph, the angelic guide, was right there, confirming his ultimate goal, a full rewind to the very beginning, back to when he first met his crew. She laid it out, this was happening because the zero code had totally synced with his will. A quiet, paycock sound, and Soo-hyun's face was all business, locked and loaded for the big reset. Then, boom. A blinding, rainbow-colored light just exploded, engulfing everything in its raw power, a soft, sound barely audible over the epic energy surge. The light just kept getting crazier, focusing into one massive, mind-blowing blast. Ending in a massive quang as reality itself shattered and rebuilt, leaving him totally dazed and shocked by the instant teleport. The jump was done, a blank slate marking the passage of time. And as he stared at his empty hand, a cold, hard truth hit him: his sword, his ultimate weapon, was just gone. He scanned the totally new scene, and the unsettling truth slammed into him: not just his gear, but his whole squad, the callers, were gone. Memories flooded back, and he muttered, "Did I really just jump back 10 years? The zero code roars to life, its completion confirmed with a blinding flash, declaring the successful activation to player Kim Soo-hyun. Seraph materializes, her voice echoing a welcome to the past timeline, rapidly detailing the zero code's devastating effects. All gear, skills, and allies are gone. Yet, his unique powers and class privileges remain, granting him an extra ability slot, a chance at a unique skill, and body modification options, though E-rank gear is off limits. A chilling "what" rips from him as Seraph's form shimmers, dissolving before his eyes. He screams her name, but the cruel reality hits: it's already too late. Her voice, barely a whisper, echoes a final, heartbreaking plea: "Please, be happy." He struggles, grasping for words, a choked "what" escaping him, but the moment slips away. Seraph, a mere ghost of her former self, offers a sorrowful apology, her connection severed, unable to hear his desperate cries. His eyes squeeze shut in raw agony, a silent "please" tearing through him as she completely disappears. Her last, poignant message, a final wish for his happiness, echoes in the void. He bursts into existence within a colossal, shimmering hall, a blinding portal beckoning him forward. Hands reaching out as he proclaims his epic comeback. A jolt of recognition hits him: this place is exactly as it was a decade ago. And he's now on a familiar, glowing plane, taking it all in. The golden energy surges, absolutely exploding around him. And from that blinding radiance, Seraph's form materializes, making him gasp as he realizes he's seeing her from 10 years past. Suddenly, a dazzling, winged figure materializes right in front of Kim Soo-hyun, radiating pure golden energy. She looks at him with an intense gaze, dropping a bombshell: "This is you 10 years ago." After crushing the trial of the past and snagging memory restoration and a fragment of the past, Seraph lays out the next mission: finish the hull plane in the Tower of Dimensions, and you can go anywhere. But first, you gotta prove you're worthy to even step foot in the hull plane. The stakes are getting real. And get this, the Hall plane isn't even on Earth. Then, with a sudden thump, he's instantly warped to a desolate, alternate world, a place light years away from any safe zone he's ever known. And the forest they're in right now? It's just a gateway to the Hall plane. One of his crew shouts, "Let's get out of here before it's too late," and everyone else is like, "Yes." Standing on the precipice of the unknown, a companion's fear cuts through the tension, but Suhayan isn't having it, challenging her to move forward after her own warnings about this creepy place. The dark-haired male pushes for action, demanding to know what's holding them up, as the red-haired female doubles down on her gut feeling, a chilling premonition hanging in the air. No way is he letting history repeat itself. Suhayan makes a hard call, this is good enough, time for a quick break before they dive deeper. But even a hero gets tired, and Suhayan lets out a groan of pure exhaustion, wondering what's next. Then, a shriek from the blue-haired female snaps everyone to attention, and the dark-haired male shouts, pointing to a clearing absolutely choked with monster corpses. What a nightmare. Suhayan's face twists in pure horror at the carnage, his mind racing, wondering where these things came from and if they just walked into a death trap. Then it hits him, this place, this nightmare, it's exactly where he was 10 years ago. He swore he'd never relive it, but fate's a cruel mistress, repeating the past for some twisted reason. He's trapped in a rite of passage from the Tower of Dimensions, a brutal test to survive for 7 days against these two grotesque figures, and he knows one thing for sure, he can't do it alone, he needs allies, and fast. The Tower of Dimensions, a glowing blue orb of fate, signals the right's return, forcing him back into the fray, and he's got to track down the forgotten souls from a decade past. He snaps his head up, locking onto the divine being, a direct challenge in his voice. The dazzling seraph, shimmering with divine light, expresses her deepest thanks for his heroic rescue. He checks his crew's player status, level 1, no skills, total noobs. He's got to tell them to watch their backs. 0 stats, 0 skills, but his determination. Maxed out. He's pushing them to go all in, no matter the odds. He's totally stumped, thinking, how could I not know someone this obvious? Then he tries to place the guy, cycling through names like Ah Kyun and Sol, soon, until Ah Kyun finally clicks. And check out Seraph, the divine clay's soul, radiating pure, unadulterated power, a beacon of otherworldly light. Back to the squad, and the dark-haired male, stuck at level 1 like everyone else, explodes in pure rage, yelling, what the hell is their problem? Suhayan drops a bombshell, the Tower of Dimensions isn't a right anymore, it's just another dungeon. Then, a wave of guilt hits him, am I going to get them killed because I saved them instead of leaving them to fate? One of the companions confesses her terror, whispering, I'm scared, and Suhayan immediately challenges her, demanding to know if she's just going to stay there. She fires back, you said earlier that this place was spooking you out, and screams she'd rather die than stay, her player status flashing level 1 with 0 skills. Suhayan, absolutely fuming, roars, what the fuck did you just say, and shuts them down, declaring he's not done yet. He raises a hand, trying to cool things down, and calmly states, we'll just have to square one another at this point, telling them to hold on. With a terrifying monster looming, he shouts, we need to get away from those monsters, first and foremost. The dark-haired companion challenges him, hey, are we going or not, while Suhayan mutters, what are those two doing there? The blue-haired companion, deep in thought, nods, he's right. Actually. Agreeing with Suhayan's earlier warning. The dark-haired companion sighs, a bad dream that my body is still talking to me, but his player status screams the harsh truth, level 1, no skills. The blue-haired companion declares, those stats are real, and so is reality, right, urging them to cooperate and find a way to survive, as the group stares down the monstrous threat. He tries to cool things down, urging them to talk it out and stick together, and the tension actually starts to drop. But then Park Dong-gul steps up, totally calling him out and asking what his big plan is now. He's like, what are you even planning, dude? Why not just chill? Then, almost as an afterthought, he throws out a quick, my bad, for before. Suhayan fires back, explaining he's been trying to lead them since he got back, because he was always the leader in the game. Dong-gul just laughs, seriously? If you're so good, why are you still level 1? You're just like us. He lays down the law, they're working together as equals, no freeloaders allowed. Dong-gul doubles down, saying they need to watch out for untrustworthy people, especially the ones who bail the second things get tough. Then he just casually throws shade at the muscleheads, and that girl, and the red-haired woman is not having it. But the blue-haired woman actually thinks about it, admitting he's got a point about only teaming up with people who can actually contribute. A choice is made. The red-haired woman lays it down, let's do it that way, but the blue-haired woman's expression is a total shocker, a mix of surprise and worry. Watching it all unfold, Suhayan's mind races, zeroing in on the blue-haired woman and her unexpected influence on the team's vibe. The dark-haired male lays it out, telling her if she gets it, she's in the team. But the blue-haired female just turns her back, flat out declaring, she's not playing along. Fast forward, the squad, Soo-hyun, the red-haired female, the blue-haired female, and the dark-haired male, are ditching some random dude, with someone loudly proclaiming, it's way better now that guy is out of here. Still walking, the blue-haired female spills the tea to her friend, she just couldn't stand how that guy was trying to run things. Flashback to an hour ago, the dark-haired male was in Soo-hyun's face, grilling him about stalking their crew and how he could possibly be trusted if he wouldn't cooperate. Watching it all unfold, Seraph dropped a truth bomb. Soo-hyun had killer instincts for people, and his call was totally on point. Seraph, a being of pure and unique charisma, has been around since the dawn of time, a true original. Back with the group, the blue-haired woman can't help but feel a little weird, confessing she's got some reservations about Park Dong-gul. The red-haired woman, Lee Ji-hai, steps up to introduce herself, dropping the info that she's 22. Then the blue-haired woman, a 21-year-old college student, chimes in, pointing out that all three of them got dragged into this mess in a similar way. She really starts to think about what their shared situation means, a serious look on her face. Soo-hyun, 23 and fresh out of military service, recalls his own story, realizing he was snatched up right after coming home. He wonders if they should just chill and talk normally, since they're all pretty much the same age. But Park Dong-gul cuts in, demanding to know what's up, and insists that Soo-hyun, being older, deserves formal address. A slightly irritated Soo-hyun asks how long they've been trekking, and Park Dong-gul figures they've been at it for roughly 2 hours. Kim Soo-hyun is all ears as Lee Ji-hai drops a bombshell, she's totally freaked out by this place. He's like, seriously? You're gonna stay even though you said this place was giving you the creeps. Meanwhile, Lee Ji-hai is totally zoned out, thinking about the angel and the system message reader. Nearby, Park Dong-gul is absolutely losing it, yelling, what? Why didn't my assistant tell me this super important stuff? He's fuming. The squad keeps pushing through this creepy zone, and Park Dong-gul shouts for everyone's attention, while the blue-haired girl wonders what Kim Soo-hyun and Lee Ji-hai are even doing. He's adamant they can't just chill here, they need to find shelter to survive. Out of nowhere, Kim Soo-hyun sees a monster looming ahead, but then a voice screams a warning, behind you. And then, don't you dare run. Before he can even blink, the skeletal monster charges, slamming its shield right into him, sending a shockwave through his entire body. He lets out a pained, ugh. Just as the monster winds up for another hit, a voice yells, and Hyun, use this sword, and suddenly, a blade materializes in Kim Soo-hyun's grip. Shouting a quick, thanks, Hyun's. Kim Soo-hyun immediately goes on the offensive, unleashing a massive, arcing swing with the new sword, his battle cry echoing as the blade slices through the air. He keeps up the relentless assault against the monstrous enemy. And Hyun immediately steps up, barking orders to shield solely as he takes point, and Lee Ji-hai snaps back a quick, yes. But then, a frantic scream tears from her throat, shouting a desperate warning to his left. Too late. A shadowy, red-eyed horror bursts from the darkness, its monstrous claw already closing in. He lets out a primal roar, his body already moving, his superhuman senses screaming a warning before the hit even lands. Now completely encircled by the grotesque horde, he stands his ground, eyes locked, calculating the perfect moment to unleash hell, a faint blue energy tracing his next devastating blow. But the sheer, relentless tide of monsters is too much, and without a weapon, he's cornered, no escape, no opening. Then, a lifeline. And Hyun's voice slices through the pandemonium, roaring the monster's fatal flaw, aim for the head. That's their weakness. Soo-hyun's eyes snap open, the strategy clicking into place. The shadowy abominations press their attack, their eerie, masked visages looming ever nearer. A single monster's blank, unsettling gaze locks onto him, its featureless mask and burning red eyes a terrifying promise. He's slammed into the rocky wall with a bone-jarring crash, the impact ripping through him. But even after that brutal hit, he's already pushing himself up, a defiant grunt escaping him as he scans for the next threat. And Hyun's voice cuts through the chaos, a sharp reminder that he's okay and the monsters have a critical weak point. Lee Ji-hai, eyes wide with alarm, can't help but voice her worry as more and more shadowy figures swarm into view. And just as she says it, a terrifying horde of mask-faced creatures surges forward, their glowing red eyes locked onto their prey. But Hyun is a rock, completely unfazed, barking out his orders to shield solely at all costs. Soo-hyun, back on his feet and sharp as ever, locks onto the monsters, confirming their exposed weak points. Then, with a steely gaze, Hyun makes his move, announcing he'll draw the monsters' fire, becoming their sole target. The tension is thick as the crew argues their next move. Lee Ji-hai is straight up terrified, confessing her fear, but Soo-hyun calls her out, asking if she's just gonna bail after saying this place already freaked her out. Park Dong-gul, totally fed up, demands they make a move, wondering what the heck the others are doing, as Hyun, with a steely gaze, lays down the truth, waiting around won't make things any better. And challenges them, are they ready to get lost in this dark forest? But Soo-hyun's gut is screaming, he feels like something is seriously off here. The blue-haired girl backs him up, calling the whole thing weird and pushing to turn back, praying no monsters pop out of nowhere. And Hyun, totally unyielding, doubles down, asking one last time if they're hitting up the oldest zone. But Dongul fires back, arguing they have no clue what kind of monsters are out there, maybe even stronger than anything they've fought so far, cutting himself off in frustration. And Hyun, with a heavy sigh, declares he'll go solo, refusing to drag anyone along, but then throws down the gauntlet, go ahead if you're scared. He doubles down, stating these structures have to be destroyed, and he's gonna use them as bait for the monsters, risks be damned. As he steels himself to face the danger alone, the red-haired woman cuts through the tension, reminding him that his own life is paramount, demanding he protect himself. He pivots to the protagonist, challenging their very presence in this death trap, but the young man's resolve is unshaken. He demands to stay, declaring his will to survive and asking for a leap of faith. His strategy is brutal, draw out the horde, thin their numbers, and create an escape route for the rest, but the red-haired woman's eyes burn with defiance, refusing to let him make such a reckless, suicidal move. With a resolute turn, he strides away from the stunned group, leaving them to witness his solitary march into danger, the protagonist recognizing the sheer force of his will. Every footfall resonates with his conviction, a stark echo of his belief that they're out of their depth, and that their only hope lies in his trust. The protagonist's gaze sharpens, a steely determination forging itself in his eyes. From a concealed perch, he scans the ravaged terrain, unveiling a nightmarish ocean of crimson-glowing dead men, an endless tide of horror. A chilling truth slams into him, a direct confrontation would have been absolute madness, for the dead men swarm every inch of this cursed land. Concealed within the dense undergrowth, the group watches the monstrous legion, and the protagonist, with a silent command, knows the real game has just begun. And Hyun, now alone, unleashes a primal scream, baiting the monstrous dead men with a daring challenge. He keeps the taunts coming, locking their monstrous gaze onto him, and the dead men actually flinch, caught off guard by his sheer nerve. And Hyun's face hardens with resolve, his gaze razor-sharp, locked onto the unfolding chaos. That rush of battle, the impossible odds, it all flashes back to the old days, when every moment was a fight for survival. Back with the crew, Kim Soo-hyun is practically yelling at them to move, worried they'll lose in Hyun, but the blue-haired woman's still debating the play. The red-haired woman, though, shuts down all doubt, screaming at them to get going. Kim Soo-hyun doubles down on his trust in Hyun's strategy, and the red-haired woman, totally on board, shouts that they absolutely cannot lose him now. They get it, bailing into the forest would totally trash Hyun's insane sacrifice, so there's only one way to go. The red-haired woman's eyes narrow, realizing this isn't just danger, it's a massive opportunity, and Soo-hyun's life is on the line. Decision made, the crew gets ready to scramble up that rocky wall, just like Hyun told them, shouting at each other to hurry up and wait for him to catch up. Kim Soo-hyun hits the ground, a soft thud signaling his arrival. A subtle, almost musical hum accompanies his confident, knowing smirk. Ahead, a massive, unsettling landscape unfolds, absolutely swarming with figures, making him casually remark, my. That's a lot of you. He coolly surveys the dead men horde closing in, a challenge in his voice, is this every single one in this area? His eyes ignite with fierce determination, a faint, powerful glow erupting from his hand as he declares, perfect for raising some stats. Let's get started. He strikes with brutal, lightning-fast efficiency, crushing a dead man's head with a sickening, bone-shattering crunch. A grotesque dead man recoils, its vacant eyes wide with utter confusion, as if screaming, what? Suddenly, a system window flashes into existence, revealing his updated player status, which he coolly scans. Another dead man thrashes, its teeth utterly useless against his defenses, groaning in pure disbelief, I'm surprised because I can't bite through. He's not holding back. Another dead man goes down in a flash, proving his power is absolutely insane. But even while he's crushing it, his brain is still on fire, thinking, someone's watching. He's got to keep his power on lockdown, and honestly, he doesn't care if they get it or not. It's time to go even deeper. The scene opens on a grim, rocky wasteland, painted in dark, ominous hues. Kim Soo-hyun scans the desolate terrain, and a chilling realization hits him, everyone else is gone. A dark thought crosses his mind, had they just left him behind? But then, he spots it, faint tracks leading off, revealing the direction they took. His system confirms the fading trail, leaving him to wonder what went down, but there's no turning back now. Then, a surge of power, Kim Soo-hyun explodes into a run, his eyes blazing crimson as he tears across the land. A haunting memory flickers, a younger him, scared, as a friend asks if they should really stay in a place that feels so wrong. Past and present crash together, and Kim Soo-hyun's face twists in a furious grimace, his red eyes crackling with unleashed power. Even with all his insane magic power and vitality, he's hitting a wall, realizing some things from the past are just beyond his reach, letting out a frustrated tch. The trail of his companions is practically gone, whoever he was following couldn't have made it much further. He remembers the hill plain, a place where humans, desperate to escape danger, built safe zones and settlements, mimicking the very landscape they were trying to tame. Flashback. Lee Ji-hai is freaking out, whispering, "I'm scared," while someone off-screen calls her out, "So you're just gonna stay? You literally said this place was giving you the creeps." Then, a voice from another room shouts, "No way, Uni." Outside, the blue-haired female is getting antsy, asking Park Dong-gul and Lee Ji-hai, "Are we going or what?" Park Dong-gul is confused, what are they even doing? Lee Ji-hai worries, Soo-hyun said he'd wait. It's been forever, and it's raining. He could be lost looking for us. Back in the kitchen, Lee Ji-hai is fed up, announcing, "Fine, stay if you want. I'll go by myself." Park Dong-gul tries to chill her out, "Whoa, Lee Yu-young, calm down," but the blue-haired female is still terrified, what if that ghosty thing shows up again? Later, tucked in bed, Lee Ji-hai replays the nightmare, "We barely made it out alive. Seriously, if it wasn't for us, we'd all be dead." She then remembers her own gut feeling, "You said we shouldn't stay, and that you had a bad feeling." "You think I don't know that?" she screams, pure panic in her voice. "That's why I'm telling you to get away from here. There are monsters. So now we have to go into the open, huh?" Dong-gul fires back, "How could you be so shameless?" A tense silence, then a decisive, "To go." But the blue-haired woman is having none of it. "Okay then. Go ahead and look for him. But I won't care whether you die or live, even so." She doubles down, "I'm not going to the open. It's too dangerous." She challenges her, "It's really hard to believe you. You said earlier that this place was spooking you out. Hey, ain't that right?" Ji-hai snaps, "That's enough, Ji-hai." Dong-gul tries to calm the storm, "Both of you have a point. But do you really have to say such awful things to each other at a time like this?" Then, a brave, desperate decision, "It's raining and dangerous outside, so I'll go look for Hyung." His fear boils over, "No, Uni is the one who wants to get herself killed. I won't get involved. Hyun Appa. You'll die if you go too." He then explodes, "Hey, you. Just shut your mouth." The blue-haired woman is utterly bewildered, "What are you talking about? You said earlier that this place was spooking you out. And that you had a bad feeling." Soo-hyun, on the verge of breaking, yells, "Even if Soo-hyun Hyung was here, he would have gone to look for us. After all, we weren't there. Use your head and think rationally." A sly chuckle escapes Lee Ji-hai as she and the blue-haired female sneak a peek around the corner, ready to stir the pot. Ji-hai's voice slices through the tension, calling out a nice excuse and exposing someone's true nature. She throws down the gauntlet, reminding them this is a safe zone, then challenges their audacity with a fiery, "What makes you think that, you son of a bitch?" Her frustration boils over as she doubles down on her escape plan, shouting that it's only logical to bail when everyone's doomed anyway, then drops a chilling, "You better not be lying," as a final threat. A sharp clang cuts through the air, snagging Park Dong-gul's attention, as he strides toward the noise, curious about the sudden uproar. He steps up to the two women, grinning that he's clearly landed in the right spot, having followed the sound of the chaos. Kim Soo-hyun, gripping his head in pure frustration, bursts onto the scene, instantly connecting the dots to their chaotic presence and the raging argument. He squares up to the group, demanding they get out. He makes it crystal clear he's not looking for a hideout, but a way to survive, hammering home that this safe zone is anything but. The blue-haired female drops her gaze, her voice barely a whisper of shattered hope, muttering about how she thought they were safe, dreaming of a normal life, and how it's only been days since everything was okay. Soo-hyun pivots, his gaze fixed on the world outside the window, a stark, but hanging heavy in the silence, a chilling prelude to the harsh truth he sees lurking beyond their fragile sanctuary. A wave of pure terror washes over him, his face contorted in genuine fear, as Lee Ji-hai confronts him, demanding answers. She pushes, asking if he's really just going to stay put, throwing his own words back at him about this place giving him the creeps. Nearby, Park Dong-gul and the blue-haired female can only stare, wondering what's going down, as Ji-hai keeps hammering him, reminding him of his gut feeling and how they absolutely had to get out of here. Kim Soo-hyun jolts awake, staring at the unconscious woman next to him, a flood of memories hitting him, they all made it out because of her, just as planned. But a new, terrifying problem had surfaced, and he thinks, they just appeared. His eyes fall on the unconscious woman, a chilling flashback hitting him, the scream, the moment she was with Soul, and then that explosive white light erupting from her, revealing the terrifying ghosts. These weren't just any ghosts, they were wraiths, immune to physical attacks, only magic could touch them. But they appeared in a rift where magic was useless, a total paradox. He owed his freedom to Soul, but the sheer impossibility of it all was mind-bending. He checks her vital signs, breathing normal, temperature stable, she's just out cold, but he has a bad feeling she's not waking up anytime soon. A surge of worry hits him as he touches his face, a desperate question forming, Hyung, will she be okay? She has to wake up, right? These symptoms are seriously messed up. It's called magic overdrive, a terrifying phenomenon where a body gets absolutely swamped by too much magic, a classic sign of magical overload. He can't believe it, she's not even an official player, but she's already slinging magic. He's questioning everything, did he misread her stats, or is her luck just off the charts? He's staring at the future priestess of brilliance. While she's out cold, he figures there shouldn't be any major issues, telling himself she's probably just having a bad dream. Catching up with his crew, he tells them he's out, got a ton of stuff to handle, and advises them to crash, mentioning he's off to check on her. And Hyun, eyeing the tired faces, demands they get some sleep, or they'll be a nervous wreck. Back with the unconscious woman, he takes a moment to just watch her. He makes up his mind, time to give her a little boost. With his hand glowing faintly over her forehead, he confirms his hunch, her magic power is still super low. He's still pouring his magic into her, a soft glow pulsing from his hand. He's thinking, if he can just get some of his power into her and guide it right, she'll bounce back on her own. But this isn't a free pass. He knows she'll just become a normal human once his magic stabilizes her. Then, a soft sigh escapes her lips, a clear sign she's coming back. Hours tick by, the only sound the gentle snowfall outside. Until finally, the woman stirs, sits up, and looks around, totally confused. She's scared, she admits, then immediately calls him out. Are you seriously staying here after saying this place freaked you out? His crew outside the room is totally on her side, demanding to know if they're leaving or what, and what's taking so long, reminding him he had a bad feeling about this place. She gives him a quiet thank you, and he just says sure, telling her to drop it for now and come closer because he's got something important to say. With the whole squad assembled, he lays down the law, we're ditching this city today, and we're doing it fast. The crew's trying to figure out their next move, when one of them drops a reminder, yo, remember the angel briefing before we got here? Soo Hyun's like, I was kinda busy then, didn't catch everything, but another teammate chimes in, yeah, but they definitely said we needed to lock down food and water. Meanwhile, the blue-haired companion is deep in thought, trying to crack the code of survival, like, what was the actual mission here? She turns to Soo Hyun, so, the goal was just to survive for 7 days, right? And he's like, bingo. He lays out the main directive, it's either push to the center or tough it out for 7 days. He remembers the angel's strict warning, don't stay put for too long. It was always about moving to the center or just surviving for a week. The red-haired companion then brings up Soo Hyun's bad vibe about their spot, asking if he's still feeling that uneasy energy. The angel's original warning echoed, keep moving. A vision of the radiant priestess of brilliance flickers in her thoughts. She can't shake the feeling that something's off, they warned us, but then dropped us into this mess. She's starting to think it's all a little too convenient, a little too suspicious. The tension is palpable as the group grapples with their grim reality. Soo Hyun confesses his fear, and the red-haired companion immediately calls him out, asking if he's really going to stay after all his talk about the place being creepy. She's not letting it go, pointing out the angel's shady, conflicting instructions and making it clear she doesn't trust them one bit. Meanwhile, the blue-haired companion cuts through the drama, demanding to know if they're actually leaving or just standing around, as another member of the group questions their hesitation. Then, out of nowhere, Soo Hyun drops a bombshell, agreeing with the red-haired companion that they absolutely have to leave, leaving her completely stunned. He quickly clarifies his sudden shift, revealing a gut-wrenching, bad feeling about their current spot, a premonition that's been gnawing at him. And the kicker. It all stemmed from a terrifying nightmare he had just last night. It was a human, a monster, a dream so real it haunted her, she was terrified, then the chilling realization hit, the monster was her. And then Soo Hyun, telling them to run, to stop it, a memory that felt like a premonition. Now, the crew is gathered, a heavy silence filling the room. She's been through this with Soo Hyun before, time and time again, and she knows that even if skills are ranked, intuition from precognitive dreams is real, so she's not just talking about a hunch. She's terrified, but there's no turning back now. This journey is brutal, but giving up isn't an option. They fought hard, then hit the city for 3 days of rest, just enough time to prep before diving into the wild forest. Weapons always locked and loaded, they'd survived so many nights together, a true testament to their insane teamwork and grit. He was always there, a human shield, taking every hit, his power exploding as he protected her from the onslaught. Just 3 days out of the city, and they were already deep in the forest, blazing their own trail. The forest was dark, creepy, and silent, a perfect setup for something bad to happen. Then, a blood-curdling scream ripped through the air, instantly ending any sense of calm. She could only curse those relentless creatures, her rage exploding at those damn monkeys. A chilling dread grips her, a raw, undeniable fear, as she confesses, I'm scared. He stares, a silent question in his gaze, then challenges her, so you're just gonna stay here? You literally just said this place was giving you the creeps. Suddenly, a voice cuts through the air, yo, are we moving or what? Who are those two over there? Su Hyan's eyes lock onto the new arrivals, a group of fellow survivors, and a flicker of recognition crosses his face. That long-haired dude. I know him from somewhere. A system window flashes, confirming his gut feeling. It's Woo Young-min, a 25-year-old chaotic neutral archer, packing serious skills in intuition, agility, archery, vigor, and mana. Ji-Hai's eyes widen in shock. Woo Young-min. The clan lord of Janine, the freaking devil. A voice from the other side cuts in, chill, and Hyun. Su Hyan connects the dots. If that long-haired guy is the clan lord, then Woo Young-min. His eyes narrow on the archer, that bowman. He's just plain sneaky. Ji-Hai quickly reminds him, you literally said we shouldn't stay here, that you had a bad feeling about this place. Meanwhile, and Hyun from the other group tries to smooth things over. Hyun's. Lee Ji-Hai, absolutely seething. His gaze turning to steel. Then, a sickening crack. But before they could even blink, his strike landed with bone-shattering power. The sheer power of the hit sent him spiraling. Kim Soo-hyun is locked in, checking his stats, getting ready for whatever comes next. But then, chaos erupts, as someone gets absolutely dropped in the middle of a crowd. Meet Seon Woo-yun, the archer with eyes that could freeze you solid. This guy's a legend, one of the most powerful archers in the entire Hall Plain, and he's here to show everyone why. Soo-hyun's jaw drops, his hand clenching as he tries to wrap his head around what he's seeing. Woo-yun's eyes blaze crimson, and a scorching aura explodes around him. This guy means business. Soo-hyun is totally absorbed, his mind racing as he tries to figure out this new threat. He turns away, a new determination in his eyes, thinking he might have done things differently if he was solo, but not anymore. He's clutching his hand, a fresh wound bleeding, and he's totally freaking out. Meanwhile, the dark-haired woman next to him just lets out an annoyed, TSK. Then, she spins around, her voice surprisingly calm, apologizing for their attack but asking if they can just call it quits. She's like, look, we're not monsters, so why would we stop fighting? But then she adds, I'd totally stop if it meant he'd just put down that bow. She whips her head towards the archer, shouting for Seon Woo-yun to stop. But he's not having it, retorting, can't you read the room? Lower your bow. The dark-haired woman sighs, apologizing again, and tries to explain that everyone's just super stressed out from the last few days, not usually this crazy. She figures they should just ask for help. He's stuck in his head, thinking back to someone asking if he abandoned them, but then a different thought pops up, suggesting he was actually the one abandoned. A quick flash of someone falling, and he decides to just wing it. Out of nowhere, the dark-haired woman's face totally changes to pure shock, yelling, what? Have you seen them? Where? And Hyun, looking super serious, cuts in, saying, you mentioned sisters, but we've only seen one woman. We're not even sure if she's the one you're looking for. The dark-haired woman pushes for more info, demanding to know what went down, but then she's like, ugh, the girl was too messed up to tell who she was. She looks at him, remembering, she was wearing a yellow. Her eyes go wide as she gasps, and he curses, realizing it's gotta be Nuna. He then totally loses it, yelling, are you guys blind? Can't you see for yourselves? Seon Woo-yun shuts down Soo-hyun, his tone sharp, demanding he stop. Soo-hyun just stares back, visibly shaken. Elsewhere, and Hyun is deep in thought, realizing this is exactly why he wanted to avoid this situation, already planning to warn the others about what's coming. The brutal truth hits hard as they find the woman in the yellow dress, her body so messed up, there's no way to tell who she was. They'd already been here, and she was too far gone. Seon Woo-yun, ever the pragmatist, offers a way out, telling them if they're going their own way, he can at least get them somewhere safe to crash. And Hyun's thoughts drift to practicalities, imagining a place with food and a bed, figuring they could even grab some supplies. The priestess, her face a mask of fear, begs him, her voice trembling. A chilling, almost imperceptible smile plays on Seon Woo-yun's lips, his eyes far away. And Hyun's thoughts deepen, concluding they're not the kind to pull a stunt like this, then adding, forgive us. We'll meet again, if fate wills it. Yeah, if fate wills it. The blue-haired companion, watching everything unfold, asks if the other person is in charge, because she's got something important to say. The air crackles with unspoken tension as Kim Soo-hyun looms over a defeated Seon Woo-yun, the silence deafening after their confrontation. Seon Woo-yun, now on his feet, coldly states that Soo-hyun's fate is his own if he stays, then challenges him to give up, promising to fulfill any wish. Now aligned, the two acknowledge the brutal truth, fate is inescapable for all. Night descends, and the weary group finds sanctuary in a secluded rest house. Seon Woo-yun, the dark-haired male, and the red-haired female finally get some rest inside, but Kim Soo-hyun remains vigilant, standing guard outside. And Hyun, ever the leader, calls for a shift change, his gaze sharp as he questions the blue-haired female about her visibly troubled face. Out on the porch, the priestess teases Su Hyan for not noticing her, but he coolly retorts that he did, just chose to ignore it, focused instead on calculating the odds. Clutching a steaming cup, the blue-haired female presses Yun about the long-haired man's words, her concern evident as she points out his silence and the growing anxiety among the group. With a non-committal, Kim Su Hyan, cup in hand, brushes off her worries, insisting it was nothing important. Even after finding shelter, the blue-haired female wasn't letting things go, confronting Sian Woo-yun with a serious tone. He turned, a slight frown on his face. But she wasn't buying it, her eyes locked on his as she pushed back. He held her stare, a flicker of something unreadable in his eyes. She wasn't having any of it, her voice sharp as she shot back. He just stood there, silent, his eyes dropping as a single, heavy thought hit him. The blue-haired girl looks down, her voice surprisingly steady as she tells Su Hyan she's not going anywhere, she's staying right here. His gaze drops, her words hitting him hard as he silently wonders, what does she even mean to him? It all clicks for him now, all those times she was watching him, as she brings up that intense moment when Hyun told her to take an arrow for him, and he didn't even bat an eye. She confronts him, asking if he's even aware of all the chatter about what he did today, and how everyone's still calling him a monster. Inside the house, he just gives a quiet, I see, claiming he didn't know, but she's not having it, telling him this is way too big to just brush off. He stares out the window, deep in thought, as she repeats her unwavering promise, she's not dying, and she's sticking with him. She calls him out, scoffing at his claim of not making decisions alone, pointing out that he always takes matters into his own hands, even when they're supposed to be a team. He pauses, reflecting on the sheer effort others put in, admitting that Hyun and Yu-young had pulled their weight, even today, even when they were together. But she's not having it, her gaze unwavering, proclaiming he might trick Hyun and Yu-young, but she won't fall for the act that she's holding him back. He finally looks at her, his voice tinged with resignation, asking Han Bile, what do you even want from me? Standing behind him on the balcony, her voice unwavering, she reminds him they stuck by him even when he tricked them, but now he's just pushing everyone away. He can't even explain why he's pushing them away, but he knows the real issue, everyone is counting on him. He throws a blunt, so what, at her, and she fires back, won't you just let me help you? Her determination burns bright as she declares they knew he was a lone wolf from day one, but they chose to follow anyway, and if she abandoned him now, she'd live with that regret forever. He stares ahead, a storm of emotions brewing, taking in her powerful declaration. Han Bile starts to lay it all out, her voice laced with a deep worry as she confronts him. The epic landscape unfolds before their eyes. As the squad pushes on, with the dark-haired powerhouse and the blue-haired mage catching some Z's. Someone in the crew starts to question the insane distance, but another quickly hypes them up, confirming they're almost there, just 2 days from the warp gate. Han Bile then drops some serious advice on Su Hyan, practically begging him to ditch the warp gate and just survive for once. She reminds him of the crazy incident just 2 days ago, right when they were almost there. They couldn't make it to the end because, just as they were closing in on the warp gate, a terrifying monster ambushed them. Han Bile vividly describes how it started as just some random enemy, but they soon figured out it was an absolutely massive, mind-blowing creature that broke all the rules. A total nightmare. Far off, the colossal, golden warp gate blazes in the distance, a shimmering monument of power and peril. Its complex patterns and pulsating blue core scream raw power, a portal to another dimension. The squad closes in, and Su Hyan can't help but wonder if this is it, the legendary warp gate. Meanwhile, Han Bile is absolutely mesmerized by its sheer scale. Calling it beautiful and practically dragging him forward, convinced this is their ticket home. And there it is, in all its glory. The golden, intricate gateway, shining like a beacon under the vast sky, it's absolutely breathtaking. Their boots hit the ground with a rhythmic thud as they push through the rough terrain. And Su Hyan is already glued to his screen, checking the intel. They're barely 100 meters out, and nothing. No special readings, even with all the talk about a boss monster lurking around here. This place is too quiet, too normal. Su Hyan isn't taking any chances, he activates his mana detection, a crimson energy flaring around his leg as he unleashes the skill. A shimmering, orange-red grid of pure energy explodes outwards from his position, scanning everything. But as he scans the results, a frustrated crackle escapes him, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Was the intel wrong? Or were the others just incredibly unlucky to run into something here? His eyes blaze with a furious red glow, mana crackling around him, as he struggles to comprehend the unsettling silence of this supposedly dangerous zone. The crew is at the warp gate, but it's not just a gate anymore, it's a swirling, purple energy vortex, blasting out insane magic waves. And then, boom! A massive, unstable portal just rips open. Total panic erupts. The red-haired woman screams, "What is that? A magic circle?" The priestess is freaking out too, but Su Hyan's face just locks down with pure determination, he's gotta save them all. He spins around, his voice a steel whip cutting through their terror, yelling at them to run, to get out of there if they want to live. But someone's already asking, Soo-hyun Hyung, what are you doing? His eyes are blazing red now, pure fire, and he screams the order again, no debate, just run. Then, from the crackling purple energy, a monstrous, clawed hand bursts out, talons razor-sharp and ready to shred. And then a heavy thud as a monstrous foot slams down. The beast is here. A towering, multi-eyed nightmare lets out a deafening roar. And then, pure, blinding speed. New players enter the game. The system flashes, revealing 3 fresh faces, an Hyun, an Sol, and a fierce Lee Yu-young. And just like that, a triumphant message blazes across the screen, declaring them victors of the brutal rite of passage. Welcome to the Wall Plain, a colossal new world, carved into 4 epic regions, East, West, North, and South. Only the strongest, those who conquer the rite of passage, earn their ticket to the starting town, a legendary sanctuary on the northern continent, shielded by the very angels themselves. And there it is, a breathtaking city, its buildings gleaming under a colossal, ethereal dome, the undeniable proof of the angels' watch. A mystical light pulses from an old wooden door, its heavy hinges letting out a low, drawn-out creak. The door grinds open, revealing what lies ahead. Stepping into a cozy, wooden chamber, Kim Soo-hyun finds himself with his new crew, Lee Yu-young, the stoic dark-haired man, and the cool blue-haired woman, all poised for their next big move. He holds her tight, her voice a desperate, fear-filled cry, begging him not to leave her. But he's got her, a rock-solid promise in the face of pure terror. Then, a blinding, massive portal rips open, and the whole crew sprints for it, screaming for everyone to get in, desperate to get out of this nightmare. But in Hyun, his face etched with pure agony, glances back, a final, heartbreaking call to his friends as he makes his choice. He stretches out his hand, a final, desperate reach as the women scream in terror, but it's too late, he's left behind. Cut to a rustic, dimly lit room, where the 4 survivors are huddled around a wooden table, the chilling words, "We all survived," echoing, but their faces tell a different story of loss. The red-haired woman is crushed, mourning in Hyun, while the dark-haired man admits his ultimate sacrifice, and the blue-haired woman just adds a heartbreaking, silent thought. Then, a tight shot on the protagonist's face, he's clearly wrecked, the brutal truth of an Hyun being sent back home, hitting hard. The dark-haired man finally breaks the heavy silence, his voice thick with doubt, asking the million-dollar question, what now, without their leader? The small group just sits there, lost in thought, the crushing weight of their survival and sacrifice filling the entire room. His gaze is distant, lost in the aftermath of their desperate escape. The silence of the old room is deafening, a chilling reminder of the portal's brutal toll. Wait, the red-haired woman gasps, a flicker of hope in her eyes, could that be Soo-hyun? But the blue-haired woman quickly shuts it down, no way, that's insane. Soo-hyun, though, can't let go of the possibility, desperately hoping others, especially in Hyun, somehow made it through. A single, desperate word hangs in the air, a silent prayer. Please, the red-haired woman pleads, her voice cracking with raw emotion, why is it so quiet? Are we truly the last ones standing? But then, a shock of recognition hits Soo-hyun as he sees them. You guys are alive, the red-haired woman shouts, pure disbelief and joy in her voice, didn't you go to the warp gate? The dark-haired man just rolls his eyes, completely over their dramatics, telling them to chill out and realize they're not the only survivors. Kim Soo-hyun is totally cringing after that reunion, then he hits up the red-haired female, wondering if she still got that weird vibe from earlier. She just shrugs it off with an okay, but then the dark-haired male shuts it down, saying to forget it, which totally makes Kim Soo-hyun breathe a sigh of relief, all while the outside world stays locked down, no curtains or windows budging. But Seon Woo-yoon is totally bugging out, asking where the crossbow guy is, like, why is he the only one missing when everyone else got teleported here? The priestess of brilliance is like, is he even alive, but then the crushing truth hits her, he's gone. He's dead. And Sol's like, wait, I'm the only one left from my crew. He then spills that he and the dark-haired male just happened to be chilling in the same spot when all the chaos went down. The dark-haired male scopes out the scene, figures everyone's waiting for someone, and just says, let's chill and see what happens. Then, out of nowhere, a door in the room starts blasting with this insane, glowing blue light. And every single survivor is on their feet, totally mesmerized by the glowing portal. You can see the mix of, what's next, and, oh no, on their faces as they all just stare at that crazy door. A low, drawn-out creak echoes as the mysterious blue door, which had captivated everyone's attention, slowly begins to open. As a cascade of system messages floods his perception, announcing his entry into the Hall of Trials and granting him numerous challenger skills, a single, incredulous thought escapes him, what? Kim Soo-hyun finds himself suspended in an ethereal space, ethereal white wings manifesting behind him, as the system congratulates him on acquiring the Eye of Pandora. Sweat beads on his forehead as another message appears, confirming that on the 6th day, at 16:42 and 47 seconds, he has earned the right to enter the Hall Plane. His eyes narrow, a flicker of determination crossing his features, as he processes the profound implications of this new reality. Amidst a blur of motion, he stands, eyes locked on something below, a sharp question cutting through the silence. Then, in a flash of raw power, he explodes into action, a phantom blur across the ground. His every step a thunderous impact, tearing through the very earth. He rockets skyward, a blazing crimson and black inferno, closing the distance in an instant. Finally, with a world-shattering strike, he unleashes an explosive shockwave. The sheer force of it ripping through the very fabric of reality. The colossal beast roars in agony, its form twisting under the assault, as a chilling voice booms, declaring itself the master of the plains. Just as the monster roared its challenge, Suhayan activated a special ability, his body surging with dark, explosive power, ready to deliver a devastating blow. This was, one with the sword, an EX rank ability that let him perfectly copy any sword technique he'd ever seen, boosting his mastery and the weapon's power. And he wasn't done. He also unleashed hand-to-hand combat at B+ rank, supercharging his physical stats to close gaps and land brutal hits. With his powers fully unleashed, Suhayan became a crimson streak, a whirlwind of pure destruction, slamming into the monster with an earth-shattering impact. Meanwhile, in a totally different dimension of pure light, a stunning angelic figure was laying down some serious lore to a younger Suhayan. She was talking about the whole plane, how balance settings were everything, and how other players were already there to fix things. Suhayan just soaked it all in, his mind racing as he tried to grasp the sheer scale of it all. The angel then double-checked, asking if the balance settings were locked in, and Suhayan gave a firm, of course. She went on to explain, that if those balance settings were messed up, the whole plane would go totally haywire, and the monster would spawn with insane, unstoppable power. This chilling warning was punctuated by a terrifying vision of a monstrous entity, its form a twisted nightmare, a creature literally born from the broken balance of the whole plane. She drops another bombshell, revealing that escaping this nightmare might demand the ultimate sacrifice from others. With a chilling nod, she dives deeper into the lore of the whole plane, a realm where balance settings are everything. Mess them up, and an unstoppable monster breaks loose, with other players caught in the crossfire. The warning echoes, mess with the balance, and an unstoppable beast will rise. It's a high-stakes game, and many are involved in keeping this cosmic order intact. Suddenly, her focus snaps to Kim Suhayan, asking if he's really sweating over a measly 2,500 gold points. His brain nearly short-circuits. He's sitting on a mountain of 3,784,720 gold points, so why would he even care about a tiny fraction of that? A stunned "huh" escapes his lips, as the reality of his insane fortune finally hits him. The angelic figure just casually confirms his wildest dreams, he's sitting on over 3 million gold points. She drives the point home, he's loaded with GP, and blowing it all would be totally insane. His mind is blown. How could he still have this much GP left, even after buying every single overpowered privilege he could get his hands on? The angelic figure gives a satisfied nod, then immediately demands he pull up the player-exclusive shop. Her hand glows with power as she agrees, but not before she settles the boss monster reward. Suhayan waits, poised for the system's verdict. Suddenly, two system alerts flash into existence, one for a massive achievement in the trial of the boss monster, netting him 50,000 gold, and another for clearing the whole plane for the first time, adding 10,000 gold to his stash. He can't believe it, scoffing at the paltry 10,000 gold for clearing the whole plane, but then, he makes up his mind, it's time to open that player-exclusive store. The store interface pops up, and as he blazes through categories like weapons and skills, his jaw drops at the gold section, a mind-blowing 3 million. He's absolutely floored, a tidal wave of disbelief hitting him, his mind racing back to the days he struggled with his crew, wondering how he could possibly have this much. Watching his stunned reaction, the angelic figure cuts in, warning him not to go wild like he did back in Wanyong, even though his requests are limitless. Then it clicks. He finally gets it, the gold points were from a hidden player-exclusive store that popped up when he hit a certain tier, a secret shop no one knew about, which is why he and countless others couldn't spend their massive fortunes. A system alert blazes across his vision, confirming the player-exclusive store has unlocked its full catalog. But the real shocker. Kim Suhayan is sitting on a mind-blowing 3 million gold points. The angelic figure drops a crucial tip, most items are one and done, so choose wisely. He nods, already plotting his stat-boosting shopping spree. Suddenly, an arcane elixir pops up, a game-changer that permanently boosts all stats. Talk about a power-up. He keeps scrolling, his mind racing with possibilities. And then, the legendary Wish item appears, granting any desire for a cool 100,000 GP, but it's a one-shot deal. His jaw drops, utterly stunned by the insane power-ups and options laid out before him. The full item list flashes, showcasing everything from Unify rank to Divinity Blessing, each with a hefty price tag. Sitting on a massive 3,610,000 gold points, the angelic figure gives him the ultimate ultimatum, buy now or lose access to the hidden store forever. His answer is a firm yep. He stares at the angelic figure, a burning question still on his mind: how does she know so much about the system's deepest secrets? Still in the hidden store, the angelic figure drops a bombshell: his gold point purchases will make him stronger than even the current top players on the whole plane. But there's a catch. She warns him about the established players, urging him not to make enemies by being reckless. As the store vanishes, he gets it. The system's rigged to protect the OGs, but he's about to change the game. Back with the squad, and Hyun's on his case, demanding to know if he's just gonna chill, especially after he was the one freaking out about this place. The red-haired companion is losing it, yelling, "Are we going or not?" and wondering what in the world they're even doing here. She's getting more and more fed up, reminding him he was the one who said this place gave him bad vibes and they shouldn't stick around. The whole crew is staring him down, and you can cut the tension with a knife. With a determined look, Kim Soo-hyun finally speaks, declaring that everyone is going to move out. A red-haired woman locks eyes with Soo-hyun, her face a canvas of shock and relief, demanding to know if it's really him. He just gives a simple, yep, but she's not letting go, her hand clamping onto his arm as she presses him about going to a different place, a hint of pain in her voice. Soo-hyun, with a cool gaze, confesses his surprise at her survival, calling it impressive, and she throws the sentiment right back, mentioning Woo-young as the reason. Before long, the rest of the crew rolls up, a blue-haired mage, a hulking dark-haired warrior, and a serene priestess, forming a united front under the open sky. Out of nowhere, the red-haired woman screams Soo-hyun's name, and another voice echoes, Kyung, in pure panic, both of them reeling from an invisible force. The dark-haired powerhouse surveys the aftermath, declaring the summoning officially done, the group now facing a foreboding edifice in the distance. With the threat neutralized, the squad gets ready to roll, but the red-haired woman can't help but ask Soo-hyun how he pulled through, dropping the bombshell that Bak Seonol knew his summoning location, leaving him stunned. He's reeling from the recent chaos, realizing the monsters weren't the only things killing people out there, and he genuinely thought he was done for. He just knew he was back, barely making it out alive, and the critical point was the key. His companions are staring, one of them demanding to know what he even did. The red-haired woman confesses she was frozen, too shocked and terrified to even budge, remembering how he reshaped the very land and the monsters themselves, her eyes unable to process it all, before she suddenly points, exclaiming, "Oh, look over there." The barrier around the doors and the critical point. Gone, he feels it in his bones, it's time. A massive, echoing Kwon. The group is left utterly bewildered, demanding to know what just went down, when a mysterious figure emerges, commanding them to witness this new reality. Their confusion spirals as a new message flashes before them, a system notification blaring, "Welcome to the 99th floor." The angelic figure, radiating calm, speaks to the utterly bewildered group, knowing full well they're shocked and bursting with questions. With a sweeping gesture towards the sprawling city now visible in the distance, the figure beckons them forward, dropping the bombshell, "You're all new players." She welcomes them to the Players' Academy, a place where new players can learn and survive in the game again. This academy, a type of training agency, is located on the northern continent. It was founded by a player from the northern continent, and its utility was approved by the angels. Gaining the authority to set quests with skill points as rewards. The training period at the Players' Academy is 3 months long. Players responsible for fielding new recruits, teaching them, and offering help are called instructors, and one such instructor, Park Hyun-woo, is introduced. She explains that players who complete the academy receive 4 skill points as a reward, and that she herself joined to get the skill point reward. The angelic figure adds that the academy also provides shelter, training, and help for new players, and that skill points are basically money, with 1 point being worth a lot. As Park Hyun-woo walks forward, she formally introduces herself, stating she represents the Northern Continent's Golden Lion clan. This is Park Hyun-woo, the future commander of the Golden Lion clan, and just the sight of him sends a chill down Soo-hyun's spine. Cutting straight to the chase, Hyun-woo pulls up his own player status, revealing insane stats as a normal sword expert from the legendary Golden Lion clan. His strength, agility, and magic power are off the charts, a legacy from his days as the Phantasm swordsman in the First Alliance War. This guy is no joke. He throws down a challenge, reminding them they were all once just regular citizens of the Northern Continent, just like them. Soo-hyun, totally caught off guard, demands to know if he's actually staying, remembering Hyun-woo's own unease. Then, in a flash, Hyun-woo's hand tightens into a deadly fist. Before Soo-hyun can even react, he's slammed to the ground, utterly overwhelmed by a single, devastating blow. Towering over the defeated recruit, Hyun-woo delivers a chilling ultimatum: they're not here to hold anyone's hand and take them home. A new challenger is down, screaming in pain, as their opponent stands tall, a cold humph echoing through the desolate landscape. The victor's words cut deep: "We can't send you home, so get used to it." Another brutal kick lands. The aggressor's voice unwavering: "Every single one of us went through this. Every Single. 1. The instructor lays down the law, the only reason we veterans are here is to get you newbies ready for this insane world. The beaten face of the new user is a testament to the harsh reality, as the aggressor adds, but this guy, though. Just then, a powerful new player steps onto the scene, draped in majestic white and gold, their aura demanding attention. A heavy thud and a rustle, the stage is set, and something big is about to drop. The crowd is buzzing, but not with excitement. These players, who just wanted to help, got hit with insults and harassment. Then, the instructor lays down the law, no holds barred, telling everyone, if you don't want our help, you are free to leave. The choice is yours. He offers a hand, a bold promise that no harm will come to you. A tense hum fills the air as the crowd stands before the massive castle. The instructor presses on, challenging them. One of them would bail, then concluding, then I take it that everyone here. But before he can finish, Park Hyun-woo cuts in, asking the real question, excuse me. What happens if we give up anyway? Dropping out means you lose your choice, so please don't worry. Any other questions? A collective sigh goes through the crowd, and the instructor gives the next order, if not, then let us now head to the accommodation. But Park Hyun-woo isn't done yet, raising her hand again with a serious look, dropping the bombshell question, I have a question. What is the real reason we are training here? And Hyun scoffs, calling the question pointless, clearly annoyed. He thinks, has she forgotten everything? We're trying to help them. But Park Hyun-woo isn't backing down, declaring it a crucial question. They need this training, and these methods are different. The very existence of this academy sparks countless questions among the players. Why train here? Why new methods when a system already exists? This massive, mysterious building is simply the academy. And Hyun, growing impatient, reminds her he's already laid out the benefits of the players' academy, then challenges her, any more complaints? But Park Hyun-woo isn't having it, cutting him off to say that's not what she's asking about. She already gets the academy's merits. The real question burns, was this place truly for the players, or was it, as he hinted, for one specific person, not the angels? She pushes harder, demanding to know why they're training in this world, and why he needs to teach them, then delivers a sharp, polite, sorry, but thank you. And Hyun then drops a chilling thought, what about players who don't return? Park Hyun-woo confirms, yes, there are people like that. People who don't want to return. Elsewhere, Kim Soo-hyun and Seol, Seon Woo-yeon, the red-haired female, the blue-haired female, the dark-haired male, and the priestess of brilliance finally reach the academy, the very place where normal players are desperately hunting for clues to get back to Earth. And Hyun drops a bombshell, not everyone wants to go home. Some players are actually choosing to live in the Hall Plane forever. Especially the social outcasts and criminals who have nowhere else to go in their old lives. Soo-hyun can't believe it, asking if everyone just runs wild, but Hyun shuts him down, explaining it's way more complicated. He warns that those living beyond the academy aren't just random folks. Even here, groups prey on others, some even killing just for kicks, and Soo-hyun is absolutely floored by the news. And Hyun just shrugs at Soo-hyun's shock, saying these people are basically monsters. He then drops another truth bomb, after a few years, even the normal players here will turn into killers, just like the monsters they fight. He asks if Soo-hyun's heard similar tales. A new player, radiating raw power, is about to step into this brutal world. And Hyun stresses that these dangerous players have been here way longer, training for ages, making them incredibly powerful. He then hits Soo-hyun with a chilling thought, who's an easier target than a clueless new player compared to a seasoned veteran? And Hyun wraps it up, revealing that players have formed communities to teach and shield new arrivals from these threats. Countless clans have banded together, hunting for clues to get back to Earth and fighting against those who want to stay, all focused on one goal. And Hyun drops another truth bomb, revealing the driving force for everyone here, getting back to Earth, back to their families. Taking it all in, Park Hyun-woo processes the intel, then opens the floor for questions as a few male players hang on every word. But a harsh truth hits, some players are so ruthless they'd scorch entire mountains for their alliances, making even this brutal training seem like a necessary evil. Here's the breakdown, in the Hall Plane, a clan is just a crew with shared goals, and if those crews have a common enemy, boom, they're an alliance. School's out. And Hyun drops the news, training starts tomorrow, telling everyone to get some rest, but not before a chilling reminder, clans and vagrants are two sides of the same coin, ready to go for the kill at any second. Then, he splits the group, sending the guys one way, and telling the girls to stick with him, clearly signaling something big is about to go down. Elsewhere, and Seol sneaks up and playfully hugs Seon Woo-yeon, shouting a cheerful, Hyung, as he does. And Hyun, sizing up the fresh faces, can't help but wonder, are these rookies even ready for the legendary Northern Knights Players Academy? The massive academy looms ahead, a colossal challenge ready to test the new blood. The moment has arrived. Training for the new players kicks off with an explosive burst of light, catching the protagonist completely off guard as he lies on the ground. A brown-haired woman stares down in shock, while Hyun and Park Hyun-woo watch the chaos unfold from a vantage point, and Hyun's mind racing back to the past, questioning the endurance of these new players, and secretly hoping for a few diamonds in the rough. His intense gaze remains locked on the unfolding drama below, a deep, calculating expression settling on his features. The Northern Continent's Academy kicks off its first week of training, a brutal gauntlet for 113 trainees. Trainees like the fiery red-haired woman and the stoic dark-haired man are already clashing, forced to fight their peers, as the Academy's brutal sparring training begins. Over 10% of the 130 members couldn't hack it, dropping out as the protagonist watches, a stark reminder of the Academy's brutal standards. But thankfully, his squad quickly leveled up and adjusted to the Academy's insane training, dominating the challenges. The blue-haired mage is already flexing her powers, a vibrant blue aura igniting around her hand as she unleashes her magic. Later, Sol drops some intel on the protagonist. Sol is a priestess, and Yu-young? She's a mercenary. The protagonist takes it in, then reveals a chilling detail: after they hit the East Continent, he was alive but vanished, and he's been haunted by his disappearance ever since. It seriously messed with his head. A collective gasp ripples through the group, one young woman's eyes wide with a mix of awe and terror, while another, equally stunned, confesses to feeling the exact same way. Back with the squad, a crucial warning drops: never, ever spill your stats or sensitive info, because people will absolutely exploit it. The whole crew is on board, giving a resounding yes. Kim Soo-hyun locks eyes with Sol, specifically calling her out, and she gives the most adorable, enthusiastic yes back. Then, his eyes snap to Han Bile, who's already bailing from the table, ghosting without even a goodbye, and he definitely catches it. He turns to the blue-haired woman, wondering if he even needs to say it, but she's already on it, dropping the reminder that they shouldn't overshare about themselves. He mentally clocks her as being just like Han Bile with that caution, feeling totally played, but she quickly shuts down any idea that he's trying to steal anything. Catching up with Sol, he muses on how tough it must be to be a priestess, guessing Sol's probably hanging with church folks or even thinking about joining up. Sol backs him up, confirming Sol's super busy, because she's got a ton of magic class stuff to master. Kim Soo-hyun lets out a thoughtful hum, replaying the earlier conversation, and the verdict is in: the blue-haired woman just doesn't trust him. Han Bile vanished from their side, and the Academy days just flew by. Inside the Academy, the grind was real, with a sharp pike cutting through the training air. A student launched a wild sword attack, but Kim Soo-hyun was already there, locked in intense training, always showing up for every session. He was even buddy-buddy with the instructors. Then, with a lightning-fast whack, he parried the attack, a total blur of pure skill. His opponent was totally blindsided by the insane speed, yelling, "Seriously? No way. Did you already tell Hyunwoo Hyungnim about this?" The blade hummed with a deep buang, a pure power move. With a desperate grunt, the opponent was sent flying back, a brutal pike sealing their fate, totally overwhelmed. Player Kim Soo-hyun emerged victorious, his dominance absolute. The final 13th week was almost here, and only about 80 people were left in the Players' Academy. Talk about a brutal culling. He washes his hands, but his mind is racing, fixated on his current rating. But then, Park Hyun-woo steps in, demanding to know what he thinks he's doing, telling him to ditch the arrogance and start building alliances, not beef. Kim Soo-hyun, alongside Seon Woo-yun, faces the Academy's fortress, declaring he's gonna get this done right. They stride away, the unspoken rule hanging heavy: nip trouble in the bud, avoid making enemies at all costs, just as Hyun-woo catches up, asking for a quick chat. She cuts straight to the chase, demanding to know how long he's been lurking, then drops the bomb: she just got here and has crucial intel. He just gives a casual, yeah, and asks what's up. Beneath the vast, open sky, the Academy's massive walls loom, watching over everything. Continuing their stroll, the bombshell drops: new students aren't getting offers, and the Academy's getting seriously messed up, especially with her uncle pulling strings. But hold on, the Academy promised him support if he became a clan commander candidate. What does that even mean, especially with her uncle being a mage? He's thinking, no way. Unless you've got a secret class, that's impossible. She's a brand new student, zero experience, yet she's already a candidate. Could it actually be true? Then, a status window pops up, flashing the name Kim Han Bile, a total beginner, but get this, her class is a freaking jewel mage. The system confirms it, a secret class, jewel mage. Soo-hyun's brain is on fire. When did she get this? How did she even get a secret class? A quiet "appa" slips out, but his mind is already spiraling into the worst-case scenario: if the Golden Lion clan finds out about her secret, they're going to try and snatch her away. And if they can't get her, they'll just kill her, plain and simple. No way is he letting that happen. He makes a cold decision: this is a temporary alliance. He'll protect her, and then, he's taking her power. Kim Soo-hyun, standing tall against a castle wall, just flat out rejects an offer, declaring he has no intention of joining. An incredulous voice demands to know why he'd decline, and he just shrugs, saying it's hard to explain. Kim Han-byeol's eyes practically pop out of her head in shock, totally thrown by his bizarre reaction. They're talking about the Golden Lion clan, the absolute top dogs of the Western continent, and the voice is freaking out, asking if he's seriously turning them down. Is he starting from scratch, or does he have some insane master plan? Soo Hyun, looking thoughtful, confirms he's had other offers, but makes it crystal clear, he's not joining the Golden Lion clan, period. Seon Woo-yun drops a bombshell, flat out refusing to join the Golden Lion or any other clan. The dark-haired girl is totally baffled, demanding to know what he's even talking about. She hits him with the hard truth, big clans are the only way to survive the whole plane, and he knows it. He admits she's right, but there's a bigger problem brewing for him. His eyes shift as he lays out his real issue, he'd have to ditch their crew and join a clan solo. She instantly counters, offering to stay and get help from the others, admitting this was her whole point. But Seon Woo-yun shuts it down, insisting that's not the problem at all. Still reeling from his stubbornness, his companion presses him, "Are you seriously not going to join a clan? You said this place was dangerous." He just shrugs, confirming he's staying, and she's like, "What? Are you making a new group, or just chilling here, solo?" But then, a different voice cuts in, and Hyun's, dropping a bombshell, "You're special, way more skilled than anyone else out there." Back to the main drama, his companion is still trying to drill it into him, the whole plane is no joke. You need a clan to survive, you can't do this alone. And Hyun's voice cuts back in, sounding almost approving, "Yeah, it's rational," but then he hits her with a, "What if you're too focused?" With a piercing gaze, he challenges her, "Who are you to call others deadweight?" Her jaw clenches, as in Hyun's words hit hard, "You're judging without knowing a thing." Back to the present, his companion quickly apologizes for pushing, but doubles down, "I'm sorry, but my logic is totally rational." She then drops a strategic bomb, the Golden Lion clan has been dominating Iron Mountain forever, and their influence is about to explode north. Still pushing her point, she lays out the stakes, warning that without a clan, they'd be stranded without a guide back to Earth, cut off from vital intel, and new clans would just crumble. With a determined look, she doubles down, declaring his choice makes zero sense, then hits him with a loaded question. She challenges him, demanding to know if he can guarantee their Iron Mountain expedition won't be a total bust. Her argument flashes back to a grim history, the epic collapse of the Golden Lion clan, once the undisputed powerhouse across every continent. They'd battled hard for their land, their expedition hyped to predict the future and fix everything, but it all crashed and burned, leaving nothing but broken promises. And as a brutal reminder of that arrogance, the whole expedition was a total disaster, leaving behind only a blood-soaked blade. Facing him again, she presses, asking if he's really thought about what it means to be a commander in a massive clan, and if he can actually trust those people. Her eyes bore into him, her resolve unyielding. Then, Seon Woo-yun finally breaks his silence, starting with a soft "I." Seon Woo-yun is deep in thought, a heavy realization dawning on him about his past aspirations to be an unshakable pillar of strength. But a wave of resignation washes over him as he turns his back on a colossal tower, a silent admission that he just isn't that guy. Fast forward a few days, and the moment everyone was waiting for, graduation, was finally here. Meanwhile, Kim Soo Hyun is locked onto a glowing blue system screen, his eyes scanning a critical list of 4 points. His crew gathers behind him as the screen flashes, "Quest complete," sparking a rapid-fire exchange of questions and shouts from the squad, demanding to know if he's really going to quit now. He tries to reassure them he hasn't thrown in the towel completely, but they're not letting up, desperate to know his master plan. With a confident hee-hee, and a shout of unwavering loyalty, his squad hypes him up, reminding him that success always follows Kim Soo Hyun. They call him out, asking what he thinks they are, then hit him with the ultimate question, is he seriously going to ditch them after all this, especially when they turned down every other offer just because they believed in him? Their heated discussion is suddenly cut short by a new voice, as Woo Young-min steps in and calls out to Kim Soo Hyun. 13 weeks. That's how long Seon Woo-yun has been grinding, and he's still watching the drama unfold. He sees his crew hasn't joined a clan either, while Park Hyun-woo tries to recruit Kim Soo Hyun, saying it'll make dungeon runs way easier. She's pushing hard for him to join her, thinking it's a no-brainer. But Kim Soo Hyun just shrugs it off, "Not a bad suggestion," he says, then turns his back. Classic Soo Hyun, always playing it cool. Park Hyun-woo is totally shocked by his response, but Seon Woo-yun is already lost in a flashback, remembering a brutal stabbing. The past is catching up. He's flashing back to some trash talk, "Look who's talking," someone sneered, "Surprised you haven't been shanked with that potty mouth." Then the threat, "We're out of the academy, wanna get stabbed?" Flashback Seon Woo-yun fires back, "How do you even hold a sword?" The other guy snaps, "I'm a mercenary, idiot. Wanna go for real, you little shrimp," and Seon Woo-yun just stares, "What?" Suddenly, it's a full-blown brawl. Seon Woo-yun is getting jumped by a whole crew, his friends like In Seoul and the others can only watch. They're yelling at him to fight, but the attackers are already promising to leave him barely alive. Snapping back to reality, Seon Woo-yun shakes off the past. That's not happening. Park Hyun-woo is still trying to get Kim Soo-hyun to stop him from joining a clan. Kim Soo-hyun's response? A cool, of course. With a quick goodbye, Kim Soo-hyun tells Seon Woo-yun, hope we meet again, and Seon Woo-yun just nods, yep, stay safe, as they split up. Pulling up to a massive, imposing gate, Han Bile confidently declares their clan will clear the way for their entry. The massive gates swing open, granting them access, and she confirms their entry with a decisive, yes. Inside, the sheer scale of the fortress is breathtaking, a colossal castle with ancient walls and formidable turrets, dominating the landscape. Beyond the massive walls, a sprawling continent unfolds, packed with countless cities. Every single regular city, whether walled or continental, commanded 2 minor cities under its iron jurisdiction. This complex web guaranteed constant communication and crucial mutual aid, a lifeline in this brutal world. As Soo-hyun and his crew trekked on, the red-haired woman confirmed their target, Mile, the continent's most distant city, questioning why they were even going. He laid out the facts. Mile's terrain was brutal because it was the last city built, but the monsters were supposedly weak variants, making it a perfect grind spot for rookies. The red-haired woman, clearly impressed, gave him props for actually paying attention in class. But a chill ran down her spine. She admitted her fear, recalling his own bad vibes from earlier, while the rest of the squad watched, confused by their sudden pause. The map is a sea of red X's, screaming danger. Most of the city's surroundings already picked clean, looted dry. The city is a chaotic free-for-all, with countless groups battling for turf and resources, so get ready, because there's a mountain of work waiting. He drops a bombshell, rumors are swirling about others crossing the river to reclaim the land, and the red-haired woman, ever cautious, wonders if they should just stick with their current rank and join a bigger expedition. But he's quick to shut that down, reminding her they're just rookies, and it's smarter to let the big dogs clear the path while they hang back and play it safe. Then he pivots, bringing up Mile, a city buried deep past the river in a massive, unforgiving desert, and challenges her, don't you think that's gonna be tough? Sun Mountain is a death trap, way too dangerous for her, but they're still dead set on going, yet he's convinced Mile is where she'll truly shine. A radiant priestess of brilliance, glowing with golden energy, flashes into view as the narrator hypes up the insane power of rare classes, declaring he has to snag them on this quest before anyone else even gets a chance. Back to the group, the red-haired woman confesses her fear, and Kim Soo-hyun, with a raised eyebrow, challenges her, so you're just gonna bail? You were the one freaking out about this place earlier. The dark-haired man, fed up, demands to know if they're moving, while the blue-haired woman just stares, confused by the standoff, and Kim Soo-hyun presses on, throwing her own words back at her, you said we shouldn't stay here. You had a bad feeling. He listens intently as the red-haired woman expresses her worries about the tough journey to Mile, torn between her ambition for a rare class and her fear of the unknown path ahead. She doubles down on her fear about Mile's distance, and he drops a truth bomb, no free lunch in this world. Then she asks the million-dollar question, are we actually going? With a confident smirk, he challenges her, what do you mean? We're obviously going. Suddenly, a breathtaking developed city appears, dominated by 2 colossal, futuristic spires piercing the heavens. Strolling towards a massive structure, the red-haired woman sighs, resigned to her fate, I'm surrendering myself. He calms her fears, revealing that advanced cities like this one actually pay players to come, then casually asks how much cash she stacked from her reward stipend. Distressed, she cries out to the group, and he, noticing her sudden silence, asks, why have you been so quiet? He presses on, why the sudden change? You didn't even have a bad feeling about this before. With a swift motion, he offers her a small pouch, a silent gesture of support. The red-haired woman is still totally freaked out, admitting her fear. Soo-hyun, ever the pragmatist, challenges her, asking if she's just gonna bail after complaining about this place. He lays it out, saying they'll be together for ages, so she should handle her own cash. And then, with a cheeky grin, he drops the bomb, he's a 5 silver kind of guy. Elsewhere, and Hyun is just soaking in the city vibes, looking deep in thought. The whole crew links up, blue-haired, dark-haired, and Hyun all joining Soo-hyun and the red-haired woman, and with a unified front, they're ready to roll. Their goal is locked in, as they march towards an epic, colossal gate, its sheer scale screaming, Mile is a big deal. A low thrum fills the air as the warp gate kicks into gear, pulsing with raw power as it inches its way to 5% completion. The gate's brilliant blue power surges, hitting 50% before exploding into full activation, ready for instant travel. As she glides through the shimmering portal, the blue-haired woman can't help but marvel at how ridiculously easy warp gates make travel. They pop out into a brand new, super peaceful landscape, instantly taking it all in, loving the fresh air, the epic mountains, the crystal clear water, and the absolute silence of this incredible new spot. Touching down, a voice confirms their arrival, asking if this is Mile, but he's already beaming, his mind racing with the possibilities of this perfect new base. He takes in the stunning, picturesque village, exclaiming how great it is, then, with a gentle, wong sound, he tells everyone to take a well-deserved break after their long trip. Before them, a rustic inn looms, its ancient timbers and weathered roof hinting at untold stories within. Soo-hyun eyes the inn, but Han Byeol's fear is palpable, her protests met with a sharp, stop whining, from the protagonist. And still, she jammered whiter, pointing out their leader's silence and even finding the inn's sign itself suspicious. The blue-haired companion attempts to calm Han Byeol, promising safety if they stay, and Han Byeol, though hesitant, concedes, realizing there are no other options. Soo-hyun, his gaze fixed on the inn, declares it's precisely as he remembers it. Meanwhile, An-hyun watches from afar, noting that the others appear to be putting in serious effort. A mysterious, elegant woman with flowing dark hair greets them with a subtle smirk, hinting at a complex, possibly hostile, dynamic. With a decisive step, they finally cross the threshold into the unknown inn. They burst through the door, Soo-hyun and the crew making their entrance, ready to face whatever lies within. But just as they enter, the elegant woman screams, a chilling shriek of pure terror, begging for someone to save her. The whole squad is left utterly bewildered, totally clueless about what just sent her into a panic. Then they spot her, the innkeeper. A mysterious figure in a blanket, welcoming them with an unsettling gaze. The elegant woman, still shaken, can't help but ask about the innkeeper's bizarre outfit, totally baffled if she's fresh out of school or just chilling for the night. Chaos erupts as the group freaks out, but the innkeeper, the legendary priestess of brilliance, coolly tells them to chill. But the dark-haired powerhouse is absolutely livid at her getup, roaring a furious threat and demanding answers about her bizarre attire. Outside a rustic building, a lone figure is on the ground, screaming for salvation. But inside, the inn is dead silent, completely deserted and giving off major creepy vibes. The elegant woman can't believe how quiet it is, but the innkeeper, the priestess of brilliance herself, just drops a menu, promising to whip up anything they want, even if it's not listed, as long as she has the goods. The menu hits the table with a soft thud, and the priestess just tells them to holler when they're ready. No hesitation. The elegant woman instantly orders a course meal for 4, joking that handsome guys make quick decisions, which gets a chuckle from the innkeeper. The priestess heads off, and the red-haired female is like, whoa, why the rush, but the elegant woman just shrugs it off. Scanning the empty room, the red-haired female gets super suspicious about the inn's lack of customers, and the elegant woman is totally on board, suggesting they bail. But the dark-haired male shuts them down, saying he hates wasting time, and honestly, he doesn't see anything weird or any other place to eat around here. The red-haired female calls him out on his earlier bad vibes, but then suggests they just eat first, while the elegant woman is totally fed up with him treating them like kids. He's practically screaming that they've overstayed their welcome, reliving the Duchess's meltdown and swearing there's some deep, dark secret about the elegant woman. Then, out of nowhere, a blood-curdling scream rips through the air. The red-haired female is absolutely freaking out, and the dark-haired male can only shout in disbelief at the bizarre sight. Before anyone can even blink, the elegant woman has the red-haired female locked in a terrifying, suffocating grip, a sinister aura radiating from her as she holds her captive. The red-haired female's face is a mask of pure terror, her eyes screaming for help. The elegant woman just shrugs off any idea of caring about her captive, acting like she couldn't be bothered, even as the red-haired female fights for her life. Then, terrifying shadowy tendrils burst from the elegant woman, yanking the red-haired female into the abyss, swallowing her whole in the deepening darkness. The dark-haired male is absolutely floored, muttering about using a woman as a human shield and realizing this isn't just some regular person. The elegant woman yanks Yu-young even tighter, her hold like a vice as the red-haired female is completely ensnared. Yu-young screams for her appa to save her, and Kim Soo-hyun, watching the whole terrifying spectacle, knows this is something that should scare everyone to their core. A chilling calm settles over the elegant woman's face as she makes a decisive move, ready to shut down any further drama. But just as quickly, the scene shifts, and everyone is gathered around a table, the previous confrontation now a quiet memory as they settle in for food. Her eyes narrow, and with a startled gasp from the red-haired female, she takes control, a silent declaration of dominance. Food hits the table, and the dark-haired male is shocked, while the blue-haired female is caught off guard, and Kim Soo-hyun just says, "Let's eat." The blue-haired female feels the chill, complaining about the cold shoulder, remembering the prophecy of regret and wondering if she's truly feeling it now. A mysterious narration hints at future events, mentioning Hyun, Hyunbi, while the blue-haired female excitedly suggests forming a clan, a notion Kim Soo-hyun isn't quite sold on. She lays out her grand plan, monster slaying, dungeon crawling, and XP grinding, leaving Kim Soo-hyun to question if she's confusing reality with a game. But she's undeterred, pushing for a clan right now, and wants to pick a name, but Golden Dragon is out, she's aiming for something adorable. She throws out Pink Rabbit, which Kim Soo-hyun instantly shoots down as lame, but she fires back with White Rose, still thinking it's way better than Golden. Kim Soo-hyun, looking totally serious, drops the bomb, they need a better name. Then he's like, wait, why isn't anyone else stepping up to make one? He quickly clarifies it's not him who can't, it's them. The four of them just don't meet the requirements to form an official clan right now, and the blue-haired female's jaw practically hits the floor with a massive WHAAAT. The tension is palpable as one of the crew confesses, I'm scared. Soo-hyun, ever the pragmatist, challenges her, asking if she's really going to bail after all that talk about being freaked out by this place. The discussion heats up around a table, as someone else cuts in, demanding a decision, are they in or out? And what's the holdup with these two? Her face contorts, a fierce resolve burning in her eyes as she snaps, I'm angry. A dark, furious energy crackles around her as she fires back, what, you think I'm some idiot servant? Her thoughts race, questioning if her true motives are being completely misunderstood. Soo-hyun concedes that caution is smart, but hints that she's taking it too far. Meanwhile, the red-haired woman's mind races, first scoffing at the idea that he's after a treasure map, then instantly correcting herself, no, they're absolutely here for the treasure map, just like everyone else in the hull plane, a fact the academy instructors constantly drilled into them. If you're scared, then that's a good thing, the red-haired female shouts, her eyes blazing, only when you face your weakness head-on can you level up and become a true powerhouse. Soo-hyun, clearly annoyed, fires back, so you're just gonna chill here? Didn't you just say this place was giving you the creeps? His eyes narrow, a steely resolve hardening his features as she challenges him, you get it, right, Appa? Soo-hyun unleashes a shimmering blue aura, breaking down the complex mechanics of magic discharge, revealing how mana splits into raw spirit and pure demolition power. The red-haired female's jaw drops, then her eyes ignite with fierce determination, demanding he teach her this insane power. With a smirk, Soo-hyun gives a firm nod, guaranteeing he'll teach her a skill that will blow her mind. He keeps dropping knowledge bombs on magic discharge, breaking down the spirit and demolition split of mana, as the red-haired female and the dark-haired male hang on his every word at the restaurant. A critical message flashes, move to anywhere in this restaurant as quickly as you can. The blue-haired female's legs are a blur, already sprinting, signaling their immediate, high-speed exit. Responding to the urgent call, Soo-hyun is on the move, blazing through the red-lit, grid-like environment with lightning speed. The air around him practically screams with energy, a clear sign of his incredible velocity. But even as he moves, the red-haired female calls him out, pointing out his previous unease with this exact location. But Soo-hyun's not just listening, his senses are on overdrive, locking onto Lee Yu-young's precise spot right behind him, on a table. He can't help but let out a shocked, whoa. Yu-young, completely blown away, spins around to face him, practically yelling, how did you even do that, Appa? He dives into the lesson, breaking down the first stage of mana sensing, explaining how you literally link your mana to objects to supercharge your senses. Soo-hyun lays it all out, showing her how this trick would let her instantly detect anyone trying to sneak up, and Yu-young lets out an excited oh, of understanding. He confirms it's usually effective, but warns her that sense isn't perfect, you can still get caught off guard if you're distracted or the attack is just too fast. And it gets even crazier, threats can drop from above, plus there's a whole other level where you can actually mix your mana with someone else's. He's dropping knowledge bombs about the most advanced form of sense, the one that makes your mana totally undetectable. Yu-young's mind is racing, asking if that's the secret to why he couldn't find her owner. But wait, there's more. With a flick of his wrist, he unveils coercion, a mind-bending magic discharge that literally injects your will into an enemy's mana. He lays it out, this isn't some gentle spell, it's a brutal mind game designed to shatter an enemy's resolve, and it demands an insane amount of mana. But Yu-young's already hooked. Her eyes are blazing as she shouts, coercion sounds stronger. I want to learn it. He has to pump the brakes, reminding her she's barely walking with sense and linking mana, and coercion is like trying to fly before you can crawl. He doubles down, stressing that you need to master sense and linking mana first, or coercion's a no-go, but she's not backing down, begging him to just teach her the ropes. Switching gears, she gets curious, asking him, Appa, when did you learn all this crazy stuff? He shrugs, saying he picked them up during training, even calling his instructor a bit soft, which instantly sparks a playful jab from her, calling him a weak nerd in his past life. He sets the record straight, his training was all about sense, not the chill meditation she imagined. And then, the mic drop moment. He casually drops the bomb, sense. 1 day. Occupy. 2 weeks. Coercion. Just the final week. Talk about a prodigy. He's just casually thinking back to his own journey, wondering how long it actually took him to get to where he is now. Then, with a smirk, he turns to his student and drops the question, so, how long do you think it'll take you all? A confident smirk spreads across his face as he declares, I'm hyped to see who nails it first. Heh, but let's be real, it's probably gonna be me, as usual. Meanwhile, Yu-young is fired up, thinking about who'll conquer it first. But then, a quick flashback hits him, a voice from his past, celebrating his insane one-day mastery, leaving him stunned. But back to the present, the harsh truth for his current students is clear: 0 out of 3 managed to perfect sense in a single day. They couldn't even hold out for an hour. Yu Young, the toughest of the bunch, barely scraped by for 20 minutes and 37 seconds before collapsing on the hill. After a brutal training session, Park Dong-gul is down for the count, convinced he's about to kick the bucket. But Soo Hyun, already done with his own grind, just tells him to get out there too. Later, gazing out a window, Soo Hyun makes a move to gather intel, leaving his buddy with a stern command to keep training. He arrives in a ghost town, an eerily silent village. Strolling through the desolate streets, he can't help but wonder if everyone just vanished, noticing how undeveloped areas were simply left behind. Checking his map, he zeroes in on a spot, confirming its exact location. With an explosive burst of energy, Soo Hyun unleashes a skill, glowing particles erupting around him as a magic circle ignites beneath his feet. He's instantly warped into a sleek, futuristic chamber, a holographic display blazes to life, welcoming him to the player's exclusive storage, reminding him to check out his purchased options. Clutching a glowing orb, he declares there's no point in holding back, a fierce blue aura exploding around him. After popping a skill and an item, Soo Hyun pulls up his player status, a sick holographic screen lighting up before him, ready to check out his current stats. The status screen pops up: Kim Soo Hyun, 23, Sword Specialist Master, Level 24, 181.5 centimeters, 73.5 kilograms, Lawful Chaos. He's got 12 unspent attribute points just chilling, and he's thinking, yo, with Eve on my side, these points are my secret weapon to stall for time, so I'm holding on to them. Blue energy pulses around him, that glowing orb still there, and he's already thinking big picture, like, when's the actual moment I gotta go all out with my sword and chug those elixirs? A slight smirk crosses his face, glad he didn't waste those points yet. He's out of that creepy village, back in the open, and he knows he's on a tight clock. His eyes narrow, the pressure of the coming fight hitting hard, because the First Alliance War is only 3 months away, tops. Heading straight for the Huel Municipal Library, he's got his mission locked down, no time to waste, gotta soak up all the intel he can, leveraging everything he already knows. Deep in the archives, Soo Hyun, surrounded by ancient tomes, demands to know what his partner has been up to. While the red-haired female, peeking nervously from behind a shelf, anxiously asks what their next move is. He calmly reminds her about the special training they're pushing through. She nods, but her face clearly shows her terror, confessing her fear. Soo Hyun, with a determined look, stresses the absolute necessity of their mission, declaring that sense training is non-negotiable for any serious close combat fighter. But his words don't seem to help, as the red-haired female collapses onto a table, a heavy tch of pure exasperation escaping her lips. Their relentless digging uncovers a cryptic, ancient document, covered in arcane symbols, hinting at the revival and ultimate end of ancient alchemy. Soo Hyun sweeps his hand across the mountain of books, confirming this is exactly what they've been hunting for, all these dusty tomes pointing to this one enigmatic scroll. His gaze locks onto a strange, map-like drawing on the document, and he muses if it could be connected to a legendary city that supposedly doesn't even exist. The red-haired female shudders, confessing her fear, and Kim Soo Hyun immediately challenges her, pointing out her earlier unease with the location. Meanwhile, from across the vast library, the blue-haired female impatiently demands if they're moving, as the dark-haired male questions their lingering, and the red-haired female doubles down on her ominous premonition about the place. Yet, pushing past her unease, she affirms that diving deep into these ancient texts is their only shot at finding the crucial intel. Kim Soo Hyun, meanwhile, lays out his insane grind, revealing he's been tearing through ancient records, covering vast distances and even new zones, admitting it's a longer haul than expected, but he's going all in. But the red-haired female isn't buying it, calling his approach insane, a move she'd never pull if she could just stroll into an alchemist dungeon, then awkwardly asks if he's actually going to help. He brushes her off, stating he's gotta keep up his sense training, and she fires back with a hyped-up, "You got this, Soo Hyun Appa." Locked in with fierce resolve, Kim Soo Hyun dives back into the monumental challenge. His eyes narrow, laser-focused on the cryptic lines of an ancient document, unveiling a mysterious, faded map. Bingo! He's got a lead, and now he's gotta hit the sea to verify it. The map blazes with the location of an ancient alchemist's dungeon, and the ominous laboratory ruins. A massive, ornate wooden door stood as a silent sentinel, hinting at secrets within. But on the other side, a mysterious figure was already moving through a chamber pulsating with an ominous red light, their very steps echoing with power. This lone figure, shrouded in mystery, was heading straight for that door, their intent undeniable. Meanwhile, inside, Kim Soo Hyun's senses screamed, instantly recognizing the unique power signature. This presence, he knew, belonged to her. But the question burned: who was it? Then, with a dramatic, drawn-out groan, the massive door slowly swung inward. Footsteps clicked with an undeniable rhythm as a figure emerged from the shadows, her voice cutting through the silence with a chillingly calm, "It's me." The woman, striking in her flowing white attire, locked eyes with him, a sly smirk gracing her features as she taunted, "But you already knew that, didn't you?" Soo-hyun's face hardened, his gaze burning with a sudden, intense realization. This wasn't just anyone, this was one of the Shadow Queen's elite 12 Knights of Darkness. This was the legendary Shadow Queen So-Yeon-ju. Soo-hyun's mind races, fixated on a powerful woman, a legend among the Mighty Ten. A title for the absolute best in their fields, the Shadow Queen, So-Yeon-ju, a name that echoed with power from a past timeline. But elsewhere, in a mind city in, So-Yeon-ju, the Shadow Queen herself, stands poised, coolly asking, "It's late. What do you need?" Suddenly, a man's face twists into a silent, agonizing scream, his eyes bulging with pure dread. Oblivious to the distant chaos, So-Yeon-ju simply hums, her intense focus locked onto an ancient scroll. So-Yeon-ju has Kim Soo-hyun in a tight embrace, dropping a bombshell about something she's never seen. She's asking him to accept it, but he's shutting it down, saying they absolutely can't let anyone else in on this secret. A golden, intricate pattern flares behind her as she just calmly states, "Yes." The Player Academy's absolute prodigy, Kim Soo-hyun, a total rookie, is staring at her, but she's just got this sly smirk on her face. He's totally caught off guard, letting out a shocked, "Huh." So-Yeon-ju, now chilling and checking out a scroll, casually drops that players are just little meals, and she's seen literally hundreds of thousands of them, but get this, never one like him. Kim Soo-hyun's face is a mess of conflict, he just can't accept what she's saying. Then, bam. She grabs his hand, and purple energy explodes around their connection. It's game over, she's got him. Bathed in that eerie glow, he finally gives in, "Yes. I am." That sly smirk is back on her face as she leans in and asks, "So, are you finally going to tell me what you're hiding?" Her intense stare locks onto him, demanding answers, and he's clearly fighting to hold back the truth. And then, to really push him, her eyes ignite with a terrifying purple glow, practically forcing him to spill his guts. He's freaking out, grabbing his head, the secret slipping away like shadows. She just watches, a sly smirk on her face, knowing exactly what she's doing. Then, bam. She yanks him in, purple energy exploding around them, and he's totally caught off guard. Then, that chilling voice purrs, "Your shadow is very pretty. Talk about creepy." He flinches back, totally freaked out, his face a mix of shock and pure terror. Just one desperate word rips from him. So-Yeon-ju's power was relentless, and inside his own head, Kim Soo-hyun was screaming, fighting to resist the mental assault that threatened to break him. But So-Yeon-ju wasn't just probing, she was analyzing. A system window popped up, revealing Kim Soo-hyun's stats, a measly level 1 hunter with F rank everything, no skills, no gear. Yet, even with those pathetic numbers, she couldn't help but feel his stats were impressive. But the pressure was still on, and Soo-hyun's fist tightened, his will a steel trap against her probing. He sized her up, this powerful woman, thinking she'd be an amazing ally, but if she didn't join his clan, she'd be a massive problem. A chilling smirk spread across his face as he decided, he'd just have to take her out if she got in his way. Suddenly, So-Yeon-ju's voice snapped him back, her eyes locking onto his as she asked, "Do you know me, Soo-hyun?" She reached out, her hand almost touching him, and declared, "I like shadows. Which is why I like you too." Her face turned serious, her eyes locking onto his as she warned, "Please don't do anything silly." Kim Soo-hyun, ever the leader, flashes a confident grin and declares to his teammate, "He's got big news," then dramatically reveals a mysterious bag. The brown-haired woman's eyes practically pop out of her head as she shouts, instantly guessing it's a magic bag, but quickly remembers to tell everyone else to chill and wait. Inside the bag, a treasure trove of deadly tools is unveiled, featuring a brutal axe and a razor-sharp dagger. Later, with his full squad, the brown-haired woman, the red-haired man, and Park Dong-gul, Kim Soo-hyun reveals he snagged these awesome rewards from a quest and is now handing them out. He then lays down the law, telling everyone to get their gear ready because they're moving to the inn's entrance. The red-haired man, clearly confused, blurts out, demanding to know why they're not training but instead hauling their stuff into inn rooms. The grand strategy is then unveiled. Today is all about gearing up for the Dungeon of Darkness, because tomorrow, they dive in. The caravan is set. Kim Soo-hyun, and Kyun, and Sol, and Lee Yu-young are confirmed. Kim Soo-hyun and Kyun get their final send-off, heading out as someone shouts a quick, safe journey. The road ahead. Straight into a dark, creepy forest. And Kim Soo-hyun's already checking the map, eyes locked on every detail. Deeper they go, and the vibes are getting seriously dark, a stark reminder that this is the Forest of Darkness, so they better stay sharp. Kim Soo-hyun scans the area, muttering about how rough this trail is. And Kyun's like, "Let's camp here today," but Kim Soo-hyun immediately turns to Yu-young, asking if they shouldn't have just camped last night instead. Diving headfirst into the ominous Forest of Darkness, Kim Soo-hyun lets out a sharp, echoing command. He senses the forest's bizarre energy, realizing his powers are nullified, declaring that his classes are useless here. The very atmosphere crackles with an invisible, grid-like energy, a chilling reminder of the forest's bizarre reality, feeling like the absolute end. His companion glances up, a worried "Appa" escaping her lips, but he simply acknowledges her, adding that he's holding on with pure skill. He elaborates, emphasizing that even a specialized class would be inferior to raw general skills. He reflects on his own training, remembering that he honed his general skills and traits back at the academy. His focus snaps to their missing comrades, observing that there were 5 of them when he first joined this group. He wonders if they just got lost or if something worse happened, but the chilling reality is that they vanished without a trace. He concludes, a chilling thought forming, that there were 5 people in this group, or maybe not. No sign of the missing team in the grove. But they haven't left either, making the leader grimly declare they could all be dead. He warns his companions they're deep in enemy territory, demanding vigilance. A strange, glowing green grid shimmers across the ground. And he instantly knows, it's an ambush. Monsters are closing in from both sides. With a sharp command, he barks orders, Soul, take Yu Young, hold the front line. Activate sense, prepare instant spells. His red eyes blaze as he repeats himself, demanding they get it together and take the center. The red-haired woman gasps, stunned, as a sudden impact rips through the air. As the green grid flares around them, he stands in the center, body blazing with a powerful aura, ready to unleash hell. He's trapped in a nightmare, reliving the moment his defenses crumbled, his powers failed, and a crushing fear of a second death grips him. But Soul is already on edge, his senses screaming in the eerie quiet of the woods. Then, a chilling sound rips through the silence, and a monstrous claw bursts from the darkness. Soul and Yu Young are thrown into a panic, her scream echoing as she desperately tells him to get out of there. The monster's leg lashes out with insane speed, its deadly tip ready to pierce. Yu Young's warning is a desperate shriek, but time is running out. Soul, staff up, barely conjures a shield, ready for the hit. But just as it's about to strike, Kim Soo-hyun explodes into action, his eyes blazing red, a green aura erupting as he unleashes a devastating purple blast, swearing he won't let them fall again. That epic blast absolutely vaporizes the scorpion monster, leaving nothing but dust. A grotesque scorpion monster, all purple and deadly, is down for the count, but the chilling memory of its kind still grips him. He flashes back to the academy, remembering the crucial intel, poison in their tails. While he's still reeling, Lee Yu-young, looking totally fed up, snaps at him, reminding him he can't just bail after he was the one who felt the bad vibes earlier, demanding to know if he's just going to stand there. Then, a sudden switch. Her eyes snap open, and she shouts to the whole group, ordering them to get into a defensive formation, pronto. Elsewhere, 2 shadowy figures creep deeper into the creepy forest, totally oblivious to the chaos. A voice whispers to hit them from behind, while another warns to stay sharp. Watching the whole thing unfold, a pale and worried So Yun-ju confirms her suspicions, muttering that it was, in fact, an ambush. Back at the scene, Kim Soo-hyun, still looking stressed, agrees they can't stay, but he's got zero trust in the rest of the crew. Lee Yu-young, with a fierce look of resolve, gets ready for whatever comes next. A dark, ominous energy pulses, casting a deep red glow across the unseen surroundings. Kim Soo-hyun turns, his expression etched with concern as he addresses his companions, a quiet, "You guys." Escaping his lips. His gaze falls upon the red-haired woman and the dark-haired man, who both look back with worried eyes, before he offers a hesitant, sorry. The group, now including Hyun and Sol, stands together, the red-haired woman calling out, "Guys," while the dark-haired man questions, "What?" Soo-hyun's thoughts drift to his past, a deep sense of care for his team evident as he recalls, "I really cared about you all." He remembers the moment he chose them, thinking, "Since I chose you for my team, you became my guardian." The sentiment deepens, "Even since the first passage, I always thought you were my family." Yet, a shadow of doubt crosses his face as he concludes, "But..." He reflects on his own naivety, realizing, "I didn't think my naive assumptions would come back to bite me." They tried to hold the line, to push through, but it was no use. Stuck in a daze, they couldn't advance, and one of their own, a red-haired warrior, confessed her terror. Soo-hyun, the main man himself, gazes downward, a heavy truth on his lips, confessing he couldn't control his own power. Thinking back to that insane brawl, he almost lost faith in his crew, the player academy grads. What if there were more scorpions? Then, he turns to his team, challenging his own call, wondering if he messed up by making them stay here. But the red-haired fighter instantly shuts that down. A single, bitter sound escapes his lips, just a "ha." Echoing the tension. He's dreaming of a reset, wishing he could just warp back to Barbara and roll with a fresh squad of veteran players. Back with the squad, and Sol pushes for a decision, asking if they're moving out, while dark-hair male is totally confused by the others. The red-haired fighter doubles down on her gut feeling, insisting this place is bad news. But Su Hyun, ever the stoic, just shrugs it off, saying he's fine with staying put. A tactical map shows their current positions, as the red-haired fighter freaks out again, but Su Hyun calmly tells her he's got this. He's dropping knowledge bombs, laying down the law on their formation's absolute importance. His squad mates got questions about the triangle, but he's already showing her the brutal truth: one wrong move, one slip, and it's game over for everyone. No breaks in the lesson. He hammers home that if they break formation, their whole defense crumbles. She gets it, confirming the shape is non-negotiable, and he gives the nod of approval. But it's not just about dodging. He's leveling up their game, telling them to use their senses to predict enemy moves, counterattack, and exploit every single opening. The stakes are sky high. He drops the chilling truth: break formation, and you're not just dead, you're taking everyone with you. Protect the shape at all costs, because going solo is a death wish. His companion gets it, loud and clear. One last mic drop. He lays it bare: he's at the front because he's the leader, period. His crew watches, one of them clearly wondering what's next. He pushes ahead, a determined silhouette against the wild green. He stops dead in his tracks, eyes locked on a massive, ancient stone. Then, a blinding crimson energy rips through the air, a raw display of his power, a silent reminder of the strength he demands from himself. He stands there, radiating an intense aura, while one of his squad members can only manage a terrified whisper: "I'm scared." Then, a sickening squelch rips through the silence, followed by a gut-wrenching thud. The horrifying source is revealed: a mangled, blood-soaked figure, slumped on a jagged rock, triggering a terrified shriek: "Be blood." It's a person. While the red-haired woman freaks out, asking if they're just gonna stand there, remembering how spooked they were, the dark-haired man cuts her off: "Hey, are we going or not?" An Hyun, ever the pragmatist, sizes up the new hunters, dismissing them as inexperienced, but Kim Su Hyun, with a glint in his eye, just finds it interesting. He whips around to the red-haired woman, ripping into her for missing the stealth enemy on the rock, then barks at everyone to focus up. He reminds them these aren't just monsters, they're mana-infused threats, but promises they can absolutely survive this fight. And Hyun doubles down, snapping at them to shut up and remember their player academy training, telling them to see their enemies as pure monsters, not people. Kim Su Hyun's chilling final command echoes: "Don't go soft and kill them all." She's terrified, her voice shaking as she confesses her fear, but Su Hyun isn't having it, challenging her resolve. Then, a subtle green energy pulses with a clock sound, and he instantly reads her mind. He knows exactly what she's thinking. But before they can process it, a shocking "what?" erupts as their escape route violently seals itself, leaving them completely cornered. No time to think, Su Hyun explodes into action, his voice cutting through the tension, demanding she face the brutal truth as he charges, screaming "Die!" at the encroaching shadows. His attack lands with a devastating "kwang," a massive explosion ripping through the space. But the shadows keep coming, an impossible horde, and his companion screams, questioning how so many monsters could possibly materialize. But Su Hyun is a force of nature, a red glow engulfing his attack as he slams into another foe, a brutal PPUWOK, confirming the hit. Then, with a fierce HUAH, a brilliant green energy explodes from him, unleashing his true power. The supercharged blow connects, and his target lets out a choked GU. USH, staggering back from the sheer impact. A sudden, unexpected threat causes the red-haired woman to gasp, as she instinctively unleashes a burst of energy from her hand. The force radiating outwards with a sharp impact. Her eyes widen in shock, a silent gasp escaping her lips at the sheer intensity of the situation. Meanwhile, a brutal blow connects with Kim Su Hyun, sending blood spraying as he reels from the impact. He curses the situation, acknowledging the grim reality that he must now fight for his own survival, before steeling himself with a resolute "good," and commanding a "restrain." The red-haired woman's eyes begin to glow with an ethereal light, raw power radiating from her form. As his own eyes blaze with fierce determination, Kim Su Hyun unleashes a torrent of dark and light energy, channeling his will into a powerful restraint. Whoa! Kim Su Hyun is hit with a massive power surge, his eyes blazing blue as raw energy explodes around him. He's totally stunned, asking himself, what? And then, a mysterious hooded figure just goes off, unleashing a blinding yellow aura, power blasting out with an insane "pakak" sound effect. Fast forward to a grim, mossy forest, where Kim Su Hyun, red hair female, dark hair male, and a mysterious cloaked ally are standing tall, absolute victors with their foes laid out cold around them. But then, a chilling flashback hits. Kim Su Hyun, looking totally different in his street clothes, is in shock, barely able to believe they got them, questioning if what he's seeing is even real. Red hair female, looking just as terrified in her normal clothes, is practically begging, her voice shaking as she cries out about the killed and desperately pleads for people. The horror of the moment is too much for Kim Su Hyun. He grabs his head, a raw, desperate plea tearing from him: "Please don't kill me. Cutting back to the present, a determined thought cuts through the silence: you guys can totally do it, just put in the effort. He's down, utterly broken, as his companions look on, their faces etched with a desperate helplessness. But the real threat emerges as two cloaked figures, one in a blood-red cape, tower over him, their voices dripping with contempt for his weakness. A desperate whimper rips from his throat, his face a mask of pure terror as he pleads for mercy. But his pleas are met with a brutal, crushing stomp, a heavy boot slamming down on his hand with a sickening crack. He drops to his knees, begging, offering anything to escape this nightmare, while the red-haired woman beside him desperately tries to appeal to their captors. Tears stream down his face as he desperately tries to explain himself, how he was forced, how he just wanted to survive. Still on the ground, writhing in agony, he sees the cloaked figure raise a hand, ready to unleash a final, devastating attack. A terrifying crimson aura erupts around In-hyun's hand, the ominous glow reflecting in the utterly terrified eyes of his victim. His eyes slam shut, bracing for the inevitable, as In-hyun stares down, his face a mask of cold, unyielding resolve. Kim Soo-hyun is absolutely petrified, barely able to voice his terror, while the red-haired female is already questioning their presence, recalling how creepy this place felt. Meanwhile, the dark-haired male demands to know if they're moving, eyeing the two figures with suspicion, as the red-haired female doubles down, insisting this place is bad news and she's got a terrible gut feeling. But In-hyun just brushes off their worries, striding deeper into the creepy forest, a hand reaching out in a futile gesture as a voice echoes the growing dread. The red-haired female can only watch, her mind reeling, wondering why it was even necessary to finish off someone who had already given up. The dark-haired male mutters that this is seriously crossing a line, as the red-haired female just stares, her face a mask of deep concern. Now cloaked in crimson, In-hyun feels the tension spike, declaring the atmosphere has gone completely sour, just as he realizes something is closing in. His eyes ignite with a fierce, blood-red glow, raw power exploding to life within him. Monsters burst from the darkness, forcing In-hyun to bark orders for everyone to get into formation, a desperate command met with a shaky, reluctant, yes. His eyes blaze with an even more ferocious red light, channeling his colossal power. Then, a cataclysmic explosion of crimson energy detonates, ripping through the encroaching darkness. He's absolutely frozen in terror, barely able to whisper his fear, as In-hyun just stares, demanding to know why he's hesitating. The others watch from afar, the red-haired woman already on edge, asking if they're going or not, and why they're still here with such a bad feeling. But In-hyun, ever the pragmatist, just coolly observes, there are just too many of them. With a steely glare, he lays down the law: we are not backing down, no matter what. Power crackles around his feet, a prelude to the storm, as In-hyun gets ready to unleash hell. His eyes blaze crimson, a chilling declaration echoing through the forest: fine. We'll just take out a few of these guys. No more delays. He barks orders at In-Sol to shield Soo-hyun, telling everyone to fall back, then declares he's breaking formation to go in alone. A deafening whoosh erupts as In-hyun goes all out, a blazing red aura exploding around him, an energy blade manifesting from his hand, screaming, protect, as he prepares to strike. Then, with a terrifying clack from the shadows above, hordes of wolf-like monsters with glowing red eyes come crashing down. But In-hyun is ready, his colossal, glowing red energy blade now fully formed, a terrifying declaration: he is one with the blade. In-hyun unleashes his glowing red energy blade, tearing through the first wolf monster in a brutal, bloody explosion. He's a blur of motion, his crimson blade a whirlwind of destruction. But even In-hyun can't dodge everything, a monster's claw ripping into his back, drawing a spray of crimson. Outnumbered and surrounded, he's a one-man army, the clash of steel and claw a symphony of chaos. Bloodied but unbowed, a defiant grin spreads across his face as he stands victorious over the pile of beasts, vowing he won't fall. But the fight's far from over, as a fresh wave of snarling wolf monsters emerges from the darkness. He steels himself, a silent, deadly challenge burning in his eyes. But a desperate cry cuts through the air, a voice filled with raw, agonizing concern. It's In-Sol, her face a mask of pure terror, screaming for him, with Kim Soo-hyun right there, his own face pale with shock at the brutal scene. He's reeling from the sheer power of that skill, the mana drain absolutely wild, knowing he has to keep up the act of being weak. But why did all the mana just vanish after they died? He's craving that power, knowing these aren't just some rookie moves from the academy, and desperately needs an exit strategy. A frustrated sigh escapes him, admitting, he's not exactly thrilled about keeping up this act, but what choice does he have? Meanwhile, the red-haired girl is right there with him, a silent presence in this bizarre, glowing landscape. They just stand there, the eerie green glow still washing over everything. Then, out of nowhere, the red-haired girl lunges for him, yelling, shouting for Yu Young-yuni and Kim Min-ji to get out, like she just realized something huge. Whispering an apology to her, Oriboni, she grabs his hand, ready to scan his magic circuit, and a soft green light flares between them. The instant she touches him, a massive power surge makes his eyes blaze red, a raw cry tearing from his throat as the green energy explodes around him. His face twists into a silent scream, the sheer magical overload hitting him hard, his blazing red eyes searing against the vibrant green light. The mana around him absolutely explodes, a blinding, raw surge of power that sends his companion reeling back in pure shock. His body is racked with searing pain, blood dripping from his lips as the narrator drops the bombshell. This is a full-blown mana inversion phenomenon. Kim Soo-hyun is in agony, his body racked by a terrifying mana inversion phenomenon. His companion quickly explains the terrifying truth: his mana is flowing backward, a direct consequence of pushing his powers too far. He's shaking, utterly shocked, demanding to know if a mere potion can fix this nightmare. The outlook is bleak. This condition will keep coming back, until it's fully cured, a monumental challenge symbolized by the dark, imposing castle looming on the horizon. His allies, the fiery red-haired woman and the stoic dark-haired man, are in a panic, desperately trying to drag him back, but he's resisting with all his might. He fights back, his hand outstretched, whispering a desperate vow to keep it. He collapses, but his companions won't give up, still begging him to calm down, demanding to know if he's trying to lure more enemies to them. Suddenly, cloaked in red and with eyes blazing with power, Soo-hyun snaps back, declaring he's fine, silencing their shouts and throwing their own question back at them: "Are you trying to bring all the other vassals to us?" Even as his body struggles, Soo-hyun faces a worried companion, who apologizes for his state and urges a retreat, fearing the worst if they push on. But he brushes off her fears, his eyes blazing with raw power, proclaiming absolute control over his condition, no meds needed. He just tells her to chill and watch him work. With a powerful thump, he slams his hand onto the earth, a distant voice echoing his desperate need for silence. Red energy erupts from his hand, as he declares, "It's time." His eyes ignite with a furious, crimson blaze, and a system alert screams, "The third eye has been activated." The earth itself begins to convulse and mutate, gurgling and morphing into a nightmarish, living terrain. Cracks spiderweb across the pulsating, fleshy ground, exposing glowing veins beneath. Amidst this terrifying, living nightmare, Soo-hyun stands unyielding, while his companions lie sprawled, utterly crushed by the monstrous reality unfolding around them. A young woman, visibly shaken, confronts her companion, demanding to know why they're still lingering in this terrifying place. Another companion throws shade at their leader, but In-hyun quickly shuts him down, reminding everyone of the life or death calls he's already made. She tries to push for an exit, but In-hyun's stern warning about staying on high alert cuts her short. Admitting she doesn't want to be dead weight, Soo-hyun surprisingly agrees, revealing his own hidden fears. Then, with a sudden surge of power, Soo-hyun unleashes a blinding light from his staff, twisting reality itself. A blinding, golden explosion rips through the forest, transforming everything into a grotesque, living landscape. But through the chaos, An-sol stands, staff in hand, utterly bewildered and terrified by the impossible sight. A chilling discovery: the caravan's tracks vanish into thin air, hinting at a hidden barrier and a lurking dungeon. Later, Soo-hyun, burdened by the weight of his choices, grapples with the harsh truth: he can't send them back, but he'll fight to get them to safety. A faint echo ripples through the altered landscape as he locks eyes with his worried ally. Despite the lingering aura of his immense power, his gaze is unwavering, a testament to his iron will. His companion, however, can't hide his deep concern, his eyes fixed on the protagonist. An-sol can't hold back, demanding, "Appa, how are you feeling? Any better?" as their other ally looks on. Kim Soo-hyun quickly dismisses his worries, claiming he's got it under control, but An-sol isn't convinced, pushing back, "Are you sure we don't need to return? You looked like you were in a lot of pain." He challenges them, "Am I the only one who feels it?" before declaring with absolute certainty, "But I know my body best. Right?" Then, a crucial question: "Nothing happened while I was meditating, right?" The trio stands united amidst the ethereal glow of the moss-covered trees, a silent pact forged in a strange new world. Their resolve hardened, they plunge deeper into the mysterious, glowing heart of the forest. The squad is deep in the glowing forest, and the tension is palpable. Someone's calling out the danger, and everyone's nodding along. An-sol's gut is screaming at him, telling him to run one way, but also to dive headfirst into the unknown. She turns to the main man, asking him what his take is on this whole crazy situation. Soo-hyun's eyes are locked on something, and he just drops one word: impressive. What's he seeing? Then, he just points his hand at a rock, telling everyone to watch him work. Boom! A blinding flash of energy explodes from his hand, engulfing the rock in pure power. And just like that, with a soft shimmer, the rock is gone. His crew is absolutely floored. Turns out, this disappearing act is a classic course marker trapped near ruins, a sneaky trick to mess with explorers and keep them from their real objective. An-sol puts it all together, realizing this is exactly what they've been hunting for. Diving deeper into the eerie, glowing forest, the red-haired companion points out the unavoidable path ahead, but Soo-hyun's instincts scream, "Trap." Worried they'll get snagged if they don't stick to him, she warns, and Suhayan, blazing with a crimson aura, barks back, don't let go, no matter what. His crew instantly agrees. With ruinous traps constantly popping up, he realizes he's gotta shield his two companions, knowing full well that preparation is key. Forging ahead through the eerie, glowing woods, Suhayan takes point. His crew sticks tight behind him, their forms dwarfed by the massive, glowing trees. Every footfall kicks up faint, glowing particles from the ground, a soft tack breaking the silence. The caravan's path is clear. They've punched right through the course barrier. Their pathfinder must be an absolute legend to have gotten them through that barrier, and now the squad is pushing deeper into the glowing woods. Suhayan's telling everyone to stick together, but the red-haired woman's got a cheeky comment, some nice what I said, and the dark-haired man's quick with the comeback, don't ever lie again. Suddenly, Sol, a new face in the crew, is totally blown away, shouting, "Woa," at the insane, glowing forest. Seriously, every single tree in this forest is radiating an insane, otherworldly glow. The red-haired woman points out the creepy silence, I don't hear any animals or monsters. Suhayan, looking serious, agrees, this is a dangerous forest. After about 40 minutes of this eerie trek, Suhayan's getting restless, asking, seriously, when are we gonna get there? He hears the red-haired female's confession, her legs screaming and exhaustion hitting hard, questioning if they're even on the right track. A subtle rustle of leaves cuts through the glowing forest. And he calls her out, asking if she's just gonna stay put after saying this place freaked her out before. The whole crew is standing there, and the red-haired female's voice slices through the air, demanding they decide to move, wondering what the other two are even doing, and bringing up her earlier bad vibes about sticking around. Then, out of nowhere, a massive, ancient castle bursts through the glowing, thick trees, its epic spires and crazy details totally clashing with the wild forest. The red-haired female stares, a mix of awe and dread on her face, muttering about how dungeons aren't usually this easy to find, and she never thought she'd actually just trip over one. And Sol totally agrees, saying he didn't expect it either, while Suhayan just shrugs it off as pure dumb luck. With a sudden surge of determination, the red-haired female declares, it's go time for everyone to head inside. A faint, almost sinister chuckle echoes as they close in, the group now heading straight for the castle's massive entrance. Kim Suhayan was constantly pushing his unique abilities, his summoning skill not just S-rank, but transcending to the legendary S0 category. Standing before the colossal castle, the red-haired female, still reeling from the decision to dive in, blurted out, seriously, what are we even doing here? Shaking off any hesitation, Kim Suhayan took the lead, his boots clanking on the old stone as he started up the massive, twisting stairs. With the rest of the crew right on his heels. They finally hit the top, and what they saw was mind-blowing, a massive, empty hall just kept going and going. Its sheer size making the red-haired female gasp, it's huge, and totally empty. Kim Suhayan, always thinking ahead, proposed, alright, let's split up and find the real entrance. But the red-haired female had a wilder thought, wondering, what if we check under the carpets? Deep inside the eerie castle, she couldn't help but wonder if they were too late, if some other force had already plundered its secrets, or if this was just another twisted labyrinth. But then, a shout ripped through the silence, as he found something incredible, urging everyone to hurry. It was a secret passage, a hidden base finally exposed. She was hyped, ready to dive in and check out the new entrance. He hesitated, worried about going down without any gear, but she just brushed him off, totally sure they'd be okay. They started their drop, and one guy was surprised it wasn't super deep, but another was already creeped out by the pitch-black darkness. Taking the lead, he announced he'd go first, telling everyone to follow him down one by one, and she was totally on board, still convinced it wasn't a long drop. With a soft thud, he plunged into the dark abyss. From the top, she gave the all-clear, saying it seemed safe, but another guy chimed in, reminding everyone how dark and hard to see it still was. He landed with a silent step, ready to scope out the new, mysterious area. He free-falls into the inky blackness, a terrified scream ripped from his throat as he slams into the ground with a sickening crunch. The brutal landing leaves him clutching a twisted leg, a grim reminder of Hyun's ignored warning to take it slow. Up top, Sol is absolutely losing it, his imagination running wild with every horrific scenario for his fallen comrade. While the others hesitate, Sol's terror explodes, and with a blood-curdling shriek, he plunges headfirst into the abyss. Suhayan. Yu-young screams, her eyes glued to the horrifying sight of Sol plummeting after him. She lunges, ready to dive in, but Don Ghoul clamps down, holding her back from certain doom. Yu-young, her face a mask of pure dread, yells a desperate warning, don't look down. But it's too late for Sol, who continues his uncontrolled, glowing descent into the unknown. He crashes down with a bone-jarring krak, the impact reverberating through the darkness. Meanwhile, at the bottom, Suhayan was already in hell, his face twisted in agony and covered in some disgusting green goo. And at the top, Han Biol could only stare down in absolute terror, her eyes screaming fear and helplessness as her friend disappeared into the dark. An-Sol's blood-curdling screams ripped through the darkness, a desperate, panicked shriek as he kept falling, a faint, pulsing red energy flaring around him. A chilling vision of a hooded figure, staff glowing, surrounded by a sea of blood, a grim memory or a dark premonition. Then, a terrifying scream rips through the silence, as a grotesque, bony arm bursts from the shadows. The red-haired woman is absolutely petrified, barely able to choke out a terrified whisper. She glances up at Su-Hyun, his cloak drenched in red, questioning if these poor souls came from their own starting point, observing his archer-like posture. Meanwhile, An-Hyun surveys the gruesome scene, stating the obvious, no escape. Dark-hair male ponders if the victims are still struggling or running, as An-Sol delivers the chilling verdict, they're utterly trapped. Su-Hyun, his red-stained cloak a stark contrast, delivers a brutal judgment, labeling the fallen as either idiots or consumed by avarice, which makes An-Sol start to speak, almost pleadingly. He pivots to the red-haired woman, his tone cutting, reminding her of their eagerness to be the first ones in, now utterly consumed by terror, leaving her only with a choked, but. Su-Hyun then drops the hard truth, this isn't some nice, cozy spot, they should know that by now, because out here, beyond the city walls, people just vanish, not just in dungeons. Standing on a blood-soaked dungeon floor, the dark-haired man challenges their hesitation. After all that struggle to find this place, are they really just going to bail? Meanwhile, a red-haired woman kneels, her voice barely a whisper as she confesses her fear. Her eyes dart up, a silent question in her gaze, but the dark-haired man isn't letting up. He demands to know if she's just going to freeze up, throwing her own words back at her about how creepy this place felt. But then, Kim Su-Hyun steps in, his voice cutting through the tension, demanding they make a choice to move or not. His gaze is already locked on two shadowy figures in the distance, sensing something is off. The squad pushes deeper, navigating a grand, arched hallway. And Su-Hyun can't shake the feeling that something is seriously off. They stumble upon chilling evidence of a brutal monster attack, deep claw marks and dried blood everywhere, but the creepiest part? No bodies. It's like whatever happened here, vanished without a trace. Suddenly, Su-Hyun freezes, his sharp senses catching a faint human voice, and he barks at the others to move, now. A blurry figure, clearly in trouble, lets out a desperate, as they flee. Su-Hyun's eyes narrow with urgency, as the figure keeps running, and his team immediately confirms they're on it. He finds the distressed figure, a young man, plummeting through the air before landing with a sickening thud on the dungeon floor. A faint, ethereal glow emanates from the unconscious body, leaving him to wonder what exactly he stumbled upon. Looking down at the bloodied, still form, he mutters a curse, recognizing the severity of the situation. The young man clings to life by a thread, barely able to breathe, and as the rest of the group catches up, they gasp at the sight of the critically wounded figure. A translucent window of player information hovers above the injured man, revealing his status as a player and confirming his dire condition. The group reacts with shock and confusion, questioning how a player could be in such a state and if he's still alive. He notes that the player is still breathing, part of a group, yet not using any elixirs to heal himself, prompting questions about his dungeon entry and companions. Deciding quickly, one of his companions urges Su-Hyun to take a potion and administer it, believing they should help the injured man. The group agrees, seeing an opportunity to gain information about the dungeon, and Su-Hyun prepares to force the elixir into the unconscious player's mouth, urging him to open up. Through the haze, a desperate escape rips from him, a chilling revelation that he'd been ensnared in a trap, betrayed from the inside. A blood-soaked hand claws at the air, a raw symbol of the treachery he endured. He screams for his friends, for salvation, his voice a ragged symphony of agony and despair. His body twitches. A final, feeble reach from his hand punctuates his broken warnings. He gasps out, trap, escape, friends, then, betrayal, kidnap, as An-Sol, watching the horror unfold, blurts out, was he kidnapped by vagrants? Su-Hyun shuts down the vagrant theory, asserting that if it was just a trap, the player would have said, trap. As the crew erupts into a heated debate over the dungeon master's role, the dark-haired male scoffing and the red-haired female pushing back. He's putting the pieces together, realizing this player stumbled into a dungeon completely blind, without a shred of intel. The betrayal and trap clues hit him hard, confirming this guy was totally sold out by his own crew. Surviving this kind of dungeon without a pro or a guide is a death wish, and with the archer's body near the entrance, it's clear he made a desperate solo break for it. The traitors probably got caught in the same mess, or maybe the dungeon master just snatched them up too. He lets out a frustrated sigh, grappling with the sheer horror of it all. What kind of twisted betrayal turns people into living experiments? His friend challenges the idea, but the other guy quickly shuts Yu-Young down, reminding her that dungeons are wild cards. Then, a name flashes in his mind, it's the Dungeon of Vivian, and the dungeon master is an alchemist. Kim Su-Hyun is straight up terrified, questioning if he's really supposed to stick around in this super creepy place that's been giving him the absolute chills. Meanwhile, his red-haired companion is totally calling out the two freaky, distant figures who are just loving their monster lives. Suddenly, deep in a cavern, a giant, golden, duck monster lets out a shocked quack, as if saying "Whoa, thanks, Sorai," to someone off-screen. Back in the thick of it, Kim Soo-hyun absolutely unleashes a glowing, power-packed attack, slamming a gray-skinned monster with a savage roar as it gets knocked back hard. The monster's gnarly, clawed hand claws its way out of the shadows, its glowing red eyes burning with pure evil. He then totally brags about his own loot, playfully jabbing that on Hyun's higher rank is just because he's a spear guy. The red-haired woman, totally fed up and standing next to a treasure chest with On Hyun and another monster creeping around, just blurts out, "What are we even doing here?" Kim Soo-hyun, totally surrounded by his crew, finally admits the harsh truth: they should have bounced, and he had a terrible gut feeling about this whole place from day one. He's still reeling from the danger, confessing his fear, but Lee Yu-young immediately calls him out. She's not letting up, throwing his own words back at him about how creepy this place is, as the rest of the crew just watches, wondering what's going on. Lee Yu-young keeps pushing, bringing up his past warnings about not staying and his bad feeling about everything. He shoots her an annoyed glance, calling her out for never trusting him, but she just shrugs it off, telling him to chill and watch. Out of nowhere, she playfully calls out to In Hyun, then whips around to Kim Soo-hyun, asking if he's lost his mind and if he's about to puke. Lee Yu-young bursts out laughing, explaining she just wanted to test something, leaving him totally bewildered by her bizarre behavior. Later, Lee Yu-young shifts her focus to In-sol, bringing up a past ceremony where she said he had a special talent, and he's quick to confirm it. She then asks if he was serious, and In-sol confidently declares he's absolutely certain of his skills. But despite his tough talk, Lee Yu-young calls him out on his obvious fear, teasing him about his trembling, which he totally denies, sparking a hilarious back and forth about him lying. With the red-haired woman pressing the issue, Kim Soo-hyun can only confess his terror, his words barely audible. A short distance away, the dark-haired man throws down the gauntlet, demanding to know if he's really staying in this death trap, recalling his previous bad vibes. Then, the red-haired woman pivots to In-sol, calling out his knack and his obvious jitters, even as he tries to play it cool. Still on edge, Kim Soo-hyun doubles down on his warning, insisting they shouldn't linger and that his gut feeling is screaming danger. But the red-haired woman, cool as ice, just takes it all in. In-sol, on the other hand, is a wreck, trembling uncontrollably, his eyes screaming pure panic, completely blowing his confident act. Seeing his meltdown, the red-haired woman points out his terror, adding that he's clearly pulling all the weight. Her mind races to his special gift, a third eye that lets him see way more than anyone else, revealing the real reason for his absolute dread. With a sharp command, she announces it's time to go, right as a colossal, terrifying spider beast materializes, instantly validating every single one of their nightmares. A monstrous spider-like creature emerges from the shadows, its glowing blue eyes burning with malevolent energy. Kim Soo-hyun, unable to sense anything else, feels a chilling dread. How deep are they really? But then, In-sol's unique vision pierces the veil, revealing not just one, but two enchanted statues hidden in the darkness, a terrifying truth. Suddenly, a blood-curdling "help" rips through the silence, a frantic voice demanding aid. A trapped, injured player screams for their life, their desperate pleas echoing with raw terror. Han Bile instantly recognizes the voice, convinced someone's fallen into a trap, and demands In Hyun move to save them. But before they can even react, Kim Soo-hyun's hand flashes to his sword, a single, resolute "no," stopping them cold. He explodes into action, a whirlwind of steel and fury, tearing through unseen foes as blood erupts around him. Then, a gasp, "Bro," escapes his lips, his face etched with disbelief. Kim Soo-hyun spins around as a shocked voice screams, demanding to know why he's doing this. And he unleashes a devastating, crimson-charged sword strike. A massive wave of crimson energy explodes from his hand, ripping through everything in its path. The blast intensifies, its raw power roaring like a furious beast. He glances down, a strange sound cutting through the aftermath of his attack, making him wonder what it could be. A grotesque Ramek, a mutated doppelganger, lurks in the darkness, its presence chilling. His allies discuss the beast, pointing out that even if its appearance isn't a perfect doppelganger mimic, its growl is spot on. Veteran players know the difference, but new recruits are warned to be incredibly wary of these things. Han Bile drops a serious warning, pointing out how easily players get triggered by their emotions in these zones, and she's got a bad feeling this whole place is a Ramek setup. Kim Soo-hyun, draped in a mysterious cloak, just stands there, soaking in the vibe and looking deep in thought. While Park Dong-gul presses her, asking if her Ramek hunch is right and how she even knows this stuff, and Han Bile just casually drops that she read an article, confirming it's gotta be that Caravan player's voice they picked up earlier. In-sol then drops a thought bomb about Ramek's mimicking voices, and you can practically see the gears turning in Soo-hyun's head. But just as they're getting into it, bam! An invisible force absolutely rocks Han Bile, launching her off her feet. She hits the deck hard, eyes wide with shock, while Su-hyun instantly pivots to confront whatever just attacked, his face a mask of grim determination. No hesitation. He unleashes a devastating crimson energy blast, a fiery aura exploding from his hand and slamming into the unseen attacker. Both Su-hyun and a still-shaken Han Bio lock their eyes on where the blast hit, bracing for whatever's about to show itself. And Hyun, absolutely fuming, confronts Su-hyun, demanding to know what in the world he just pulled. And Sol, looking like he just got caught with his hand in a cookie jar, tries to backtrack to Su-hyun, muttering that he thought that smart-talking Ramek was a real monster and it was just a joke. Su-hyun's stare cuts right through him, the unspoken question screaming, a joke. Su-hyun lays down the law, reminding and Sol they'd never attack an ally in a ranking dungeon, then drops the chilling question, should I attack you as a joke too? A chilling visual slams into their minds, a glowing blue orb showing a world map, a brutal reminder, this isn't some game, this is reality. Yu Young, the red-haired female, jumps in, exasperated, asking in Sol how many times she has to drill it into his head to stay alert, and he can only offer a pathetic, I'm sorry. And Hyun then turns to Su-hyun, giving him a one-time pass only because Yu Young stepped in, but delivers a chilling ultimatum, mess up again, for any reason, and there will be no mercy. All eyes bore into in Sol, the unspoken demand echoing, do you understand? And Hyun drives the point home, explaining that a voice-mimicking Ramek demands extreme caution, a fundamental rule for Ramek hunters that Su-hyun should have mastered. Su-hyun, chastened, confirms he's got it. The tension is palpable as they stand at the cave's maw. But before the argument can escalate, and Hyun's sharp voice cuts in, demanding they get moving, and in Sol, ever the observer, just wants to know what's holding them up from plunging into the shadowy depths. No time for hesitation. Kim Su-hyun takes point, pushing deeper into the eerie, moss-covered cave, its glowing green flora casting an otherworldly glow. Deeper and deeper they go, and Kim Su-hyun can't help but voice his thoughts, they chased a Ramek this far, but there's no sign of anyone else, and the passage is getting tighter. Maybe the real treasure is buried even deeper, he speculates, before his eyes lock onto something bizarre, a glowing green orb, just sitting there. He moves in for a closer look, his mind racing, trying to figure out what this bizarre, glowing thing even is. The whole crew crowds around the pulsing green light, their faces bathed in its weird glow, all of them trying to make sense of this wild find. Curiosity gets the better of him, and Kim Su-hyun reaches out to touch the orb, only to let out a sudden, sharp cry of pain as it reacts to his touch. He pulls back, clutching his hand, a chilling thought hitting him, that bad feeling he had. It was right all along. Yu Young is absolutely terrified, her voice shaking as she confesses her fear. He spins around, a hint of annoyance in his voice, calling her out for being spooked by the very place she warned them about, as in Hyun and in Sol chime in, wondering if they should even be here. But before anyone can react, a monstrous, thorny green terror explodes from the ground, its tendrils lashing out with terrifying speed. A sudden, crushing regret slams into him, as he curses himself for not covering the ceiling with his mana barrier. The thorny vines strike, impaling him instantly, a raw, agonizing scream tearing from his throat as he's pinned. He crashes to the ground, completely consumed by the glowing green tendrils, his friends frozen in absolute horror. Then, as the system screams, player elimination and physical transformation, his eye ignites with a terrifying red glow, unleashing an explosive, unknown power from deep within. A guttural cry tears from the red-haired warrior as she pushes against an unseen force, her eyes locked on the ominous ceiling. Above, grotesque, glowing green orbs, like monstrous eyes, dangle from thick, pulsating vines, radiating an unsettling light. She quickly corrects herself to her silent partner, no, those aren't just. Suddenly, one of the orbs flares, and a monstrous, clawed green limb strikes with terrifying force. Both she and the cloaked figure gaze up into the cavern's terrifying maw, a chilling whisper echoing through the root-choked expanse. The segmented, insectoid limb is revealed in stark detail, still hissing with malevolent energy. And below, a swarm of dark, predatory fish-like horrors glide through the toxic green depths. Her voice filled with dawning horror, she points skyward, are they all pouring out from up there? With the cavern's ominous glow reaching a fever pitch, Kim Su-hyun barks orders, telling his ally to ignore the creature's armored hide and go straight for its glowing core. No time to waste, he explodes into action, his blade a searing green streak tearing into the creature's grotesque, segmented body. Watching the beast's terrifying, power-fueled evolution, his red-haired ally's eyes widen as she senses its mana skyrocketing, realizing it's now stronger than ever. Her face contorts with pure fury, a burning conviction in her eyes that these monsters have crossed a line, committing an unspeakable crime. United in their rage, Kim Su-hyun and his fiery ally unleash a devastating combo, ripping into the monster while a third, hooded figure observes the chaos. A sickening crunch echoes, as the creature's limb is brutally torn away, gushing with vile green ichor. Even after that brutal hit, the thing still twitches and thrashes, making Kim Su-hyun wonder if it's actually down for good. He spins to face the hooded observer, announcing the battle's end and giving props for the resistance points gained from their protective barrier. The hooded figure, Soul, gives a soft okay, as Kim Soo-hyun tells her to conserve mana and stash something away. And Soul, clearly spooked, turns to Soo-hyun, asking if they're seriously sticking around. Elsewhere, the tension is palpable as the red-haired female announces a hung-up call, leaving In-hyun to ponder the fate of the mysterious elf-feared individual caught in their midst. Their eyes snap upwards, locked onto the monstrous, multi-limbed horror hanging ominously above them. Soo-hyun, deep in thought, demands to know if anyone has a plan. With a fierce resolve, the elf-feared individual flat-out refuses to be left behind. Surrounded by grim reminders of past failures, Soo-hyun's internal monologue kicks in, he's just not cut out for sugarcoating the truth. His eyes harden with resolve, declaring they're taking her with them, no questions asked. But the grim reality is, her body is no longer human, she's transforming into an egg-laying monster. Even if they somehow kept her alive, it would only prolong her agonizing existence. A chilling question hangs in the air, challenging their very right to interfere. The tension is palpable as In-Soul stays quiet, but the red-haired woman can't hold back her fear, pointing out how creepy this place already feels. But Kim Soo-hyun isn't backing down. He makes the tough call, insisting they have to get that suffering figure out of here, and just like that, the red-haired woman plunges into the glowing, web-covered abyss. Kim Soo-hyun is all in, giving a firm yes to the risky move, a creepy chuckle hinting at the wild ride ahead. The cavern itself is alive with a bizarre, taunting energy, almost like it's counting its new prey, 2 males and 2 females. The squad is officially on the glowing webs, peering into the abyss with a look that says, we're ready for anything. Out of nowhere, the red-haired woman snaps, blade ready, calling out the hidden threat, demanding answers and a face-to-face showdown. Then, from the shadows below, a tiny figure drops a bombshell, announcing it's the Dungeon Master. In-hyun immediately barks out a command, stay alert, everyone. The cavern's eerie voice confirms the Dungeon Master's claim, its chilling laughter bouncing off the glowing walls. A bone-chilling voice rips through the cavern, and the red-haired woman is instantly on edge, her eyes screaming pure terror. The Dungeon Master's voice, dripping with malice, cuts through the air, declaring them her next victims. Then, from the heart of the glowing green abyss, the Dungeon Master, Vivian, emerges, a stunning, yet terrifying, queen on her organic throne. Vivian has made her grand entrance. The red-haired woman, connecting the dots, immediately snaps back, accusing Vivian of what happened to that poor lady. Vivian, cool as ice, lays out her twisted logic, the woman invaded her space, and her powerful mana was simply too good to pass up for herself and her babies. The red-haired woman, absolutely furious, fires back that the lady got what she deserved, and those monstrified players. They're Vivian's unborn babies. Vivian lets out a stunned gasp, demanding to know why she's getting cursed out, claiming it was all just self-defense. Her eyes drop to the glowing green sacks, her voice thick with grief as she cries out, accusing them of devouring her little babies. Vivian's voice cracks, a raw, guttural sound escaping her as her green eyes blaze with sorrow and fury, challenging anyone to comprehend the agony of a mother who's lost her children. But Kim Soo-hyun, with a stone-cold gaze, cuts her off, throwing her own words back at her, you did this. And a sinister green energy begins to surge around Vivian. Her eyes now burning with absolute rage, Vivian's voice drops to an icy, deadly tone, vowing to punish him too. Then, with a deafening shriek, a blinding, concentrated blast of emerald power explodes from her, ripping through everything in its path. The devastating magical assault continues its relentless charge, echoing with screams of terror and agony as it slams into its victims.